Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Which one's the best crypto asset? Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Is up, Discover Crypto. We're live in Bali once again while the markets absolutely drop in chaos. I mean, it looks like a Balinesian road with mopeds right now, dude. We're just ending up in the gutter. We have Jerome Powell speaking here in less than a few hours. I think we're actually an hour away from this. So I will be covering this live as Jerome Powell speaks at the Jackson Hole Symposium, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, economic event every single year. And obviously, markets are anticipating quite a bit of downside. I mean, we've seen this go from roughly 94% in terms of a chance for a 25% rate cut down to 71%. So markets are in chaos. Trump is apparently coming out at noon. We're going to be covering what is Donald Trump about to talk about at 12 p.m. Eastern. And of course, what does Jerome Powell's speech mean for these markets? What should we expect? Because Bitcoin sitting at $11,000, guys, breaking below 112K. Ethereum dropping like a knife right now. Back now into this outer channel. Had a nice little bull trap, it looks like here, where we wanted to see that range higher. But this is all in anticipation of Jerome Powell's speech here in just a few hours. So guys, make sure you hit that like button. Repost if you're on X, share if you're on YouTube. We're going to roll this into the morning show with TJ and Yeezy. I hope they will be covering the live stream and watching it live as Jerome Powell does address the nation, but we'll be getting a good majority of it here before they go live at about 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So let's jump into the markets today, guys. Let's get a little bit of a reaction here. Right now, Bitcoin, again, pulling back to 112K, Ethereum down to 42.25, XRP down to $2.79. Let me know in the comments right now, chat. Are you getting ready to buy this dip, or are we going much, much lower? I want to know your guys' price predictions for Bitcoin and crypto right now. Like Powell, it's terrible. It's already almost the weekend for me because I'm in Indonesia. It's like 8 p.m. at night. But I think today is going to be incredibly volatile for the markets. We'll be analyzing and showing and potentially opening a trade here. But we want to wait for all these keynotes. I mean, Donald Trump and Jerome Powell talking in the same day, I think we all can laugh together and say that usually that means very bad things. But this might mean two negatives equal a positive. I don't necessarily know what to expect out of Trump's mouth. He might come out today and be like, you know what, 50% tariffs. And then Jerome Powell's like, we're not cutting interest rates. And markets just absolutely take retail for a spin. But in the last 24 hours, okay, last 24 hours, you do have some movers. One of ours is we hold a good amount, but Morpho here, $2.41, has peeled back a bit, but there is some gainers in the last 24 hours. If you look at the top losers, though, yikes, man. Pump Fund down to, I think, 3.5 cents. It doesn't show on here, but the actual biggest loser today, it's going to shock you guys. It's going to shock you. Is Yeezy coin. Yeezy money right here, bro. Yeezy money now down to, dude, 66 cents, bro. I wish I opened a short. I just refused to open a short. I wanted to open a short at $1.20. We'd be up so much money right now, but I don't know. I thought Yeezy or the Yay Master or whatever he is was going to pump this a little bit. Kanye West did not pump this at all, chat. Kanye West didn't. Like, he literally just rug pulled his entire audience, which makes sense. It makes sense to me, but now down to a $197 million market cap. What a failure, man. What a failure. That is gross, bro. That is actually gross here. How long for the speech, guys? We're now only an hour and 20 minutes until the speech. So we're going to be analyzing and preparing for this markets and maybe jumping in here, looking at the liquidations. Bitcoin is dropping as we speak. 11734. Chat, what do you think we go to first? Are we going to 100K or 125K first? 100K or 125K first? Let me know. Or just tell me, like, be blunt. Like, be blunt. Is the bear market started? Is it over? Is the bull market over? The biggest loser today, tomorrow is Chair Powell. Dude, honestly, can we just get some Fs in the chat for Jerome Powell, dude? He is literally the worst for the markets, bro. He has been absolutely the worst here. Time Traveler says XRP will rally 2,597,000%. I'm going to show you guys how ridiculously dumb the XRP community is at the end of this video. But first, let's get into Fed Chair Jerome Powell here because this is a big day, and a lot of people think we are, in fact, cooked, chat. Federal Reserve Chair Powell is taking stage at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium in Wyoming for what will be his final appearance at the prestigious gathering since his appointment by then Donald Trump in 2017. Some chat is saying 100K. We are all high as kites if we think Jerome Powell will cut rates. It's a political, he don't care. It's about politics. Do you really think Jerome Powell is political? Or do you think he's doing this for the sake of the American people? Do you think he's doing it for the sake of the American people? I don't know, man. Federal Reserve Chair Powell says, again, he's going to be taking states. His address is scheduled for 17 at the Jackson Hole Lodge. So this is 7. So is this actually 5 p.m.? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. This is 5. I got to look at whatever UTC plus 3 is. Chat, let me know. Somebody let me know what 17 is military time UTC plus 3. Someone let me know what time this is because I am on the other side of the world. I don't even know what time is anymore. It's dark, but it's early, but it's late, but it's not. Like, I am confused, bro. I am as confused as Yeezy's coin on the charts right now, just dropping to zero, dude, trying to find myself. It's expected to attract intense scrutiny from global central bankers, investors, and crypto traders alike who are searching for clues about the Fed's next interest rate move. A legacy of pivotal speeches. Over 7 years, Powell's Jackson Hole remarks have often set the tone for financial markets. In 2018, he stressed to gradually rate hikes, which were delivered 4 times that year. By 2019, amid slowing global growth, he shifted to caution, leading to 3 rate cuts. The pandemic in 2020, Powell unveiled a new strategy prioritizing maximum employment alongside an average of a 2% inflation goal. A year later, he famously called inflation temporary and was so freaking wrong. Yeah, it wasn't temporary, chat. It was transitory. It was transitory. We're not going to forget this word. We're not going to forget how fucked up and incorrect he was. He failed miserably with a transitory term, just like translate. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna pause there. We're not gonna get heated into that conversation. As Stan said, drew criticism as price pressures mounted. They mounted heavily. In 2022, his warning that bringing inflation under control would bring pain marked the start of an aggressive tightening cycle. By 2023, he kept policy rates steady, but hinted at possible rate hikes, and of course, hasn't left here. So, chat. What is this, or what does this mean for the crypto market? Crypto market holds its breath. Take a breath for this one. Ahead of this year's speech, Bitcoin and Ethereum have traded early Friday. Out now, it says 113K, but we're actually now at live feed chat, $111,700. Ethereum is dropping faster right now than Bitcoin off a cliff. It is driving right off the cliff. Kronos Research CIO Vincent Liu says consensus expects a hawkish Powell, which could weigh on risk assets. A dovish surprise could spark a rally. Chat, do we think is Jerome Powell's speech going to be dovish or hawkish? If you guys don't know what this means, dovish means bullish, hawkish means bearish. So we're going to see a dovish speech or a hawkish speech. While hawkish remarks may deepen selling, if Powell offers light clarity, markets are likely to remain in a holding pattern. So I expect that, honestly. I think we're going to be hopefully vibing at like a leveled pace at this point. What really concerns me is the fact that Donald Trump's coming out right afterwards at 12 o'clock. So maybe he's got like Jerome Powell on the end of the fish right now at the end of the line, and he's going to say, hey, look, Jerome Powell is fired, and they're going to figure out how to actually fire him. I don't know. I don't think that's very likely. But we can all hope and pray for that bullish rally. So risks for Bitcoin and beyond. Bitcoin market analyst Rachel Lucas, or Raquel, I don't know, it sounded fancy, warned that a hawkish tone for Powell could trigger as much as a 30% in correction in Bitcoin, chat. 30%. Let's do some quick bear math here, dude. Let's get all the bears on our chat wet, bro. I'm going to have their pants dripping right now, dude. Dripping. All right, 30% from where we're at. Oh, my God. 30% from here? There's no way, dude. There's no way, right? If Jerome Powell is hawkish here, a 30, bro, chat, we're talking $77,000, chat. $77,000. Why am I shouting? Because I'm scared, bro. I'm scared, Drew. Druvis. Why is your name Druvis, bro? What type of name is Druvis? Like, what the fuck is that? I'm just kidding. 30%, bro. 30%. 77K, Drew. Kiss my ass. That's a bear market. Dude, that's more than a bear market. This is, I don't know what this is, dude. This is like finding, I'm gonna pause on I gotta be careful on what we're saying here. 11,000, oh, we're pumping again. 30%. 30%, man. We won't dip 75%. If we get a negative speech, we are expecting that. Josh has had a few drinks. I'm actually sober as hell. I'm more like on fire. Look at my guys. You want to see my? Actually, no. I'm not showing you my skin. I'm not showing my skin. Hit up. Let's hit 200 likes, chat. Hit 200 likes, and I'm gonna show you my sunburn, bro. And you guys can clip it. Call me little white boy. Do whatever you want, dude. I look like a lobster underneath this shirt. I will show you my terrible sunline, dude. It is terrible. It is gross. Well, either way, guys, back to the charts here. Back to the conversation. She has pointed out that a 30% correction in Bitcoin if investors shift to a risk-off mode. Still, she pointed out that current pullback fits with the cryptocurrency's typical 4-year cycle halving. It's common for prices to soften in September after the halving, which is interesting. Benjamin Cowan saying the same exact thing before picking up into November and December as supply dynamics tighten. Lucas explained, beyond Jackson Hole, crypto traders will be focused on U.S. inflation data and Fed policy meetings and the ETF inflows, as well as political moves such as Trump's tariff decision. Bitcoin scenario, after Jackson Hole, bull case, okay? If Powell, this is the bull case. So we're going to go over the bull case, the base case, and the bear case, which we don't like at all, right? No one likes the bear case here. What we're looking at here, bull case, if Jerome Powell signals a dovish stance and reinforce expectations for a September rate cut, Bitcoin could break past $120,000 quickly. I agree, which is why if you can catch this on the dovish trend, it's a pretty solid trade if you're on a low leverage position, maybe like a 3x. You know, I would take the risk. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to open this with you guys live here today. Base case, we end up being neutral, balanced with Drum's Peach. Nothing's really crazy, and we range between $108,000 Bitcoin and $118,000 Bitcoin. The bear case is apparently this 20 to 30% pullback, retesting anywhere from $95,000 to $75,000. Let me know right now, chat. Are you a bull, a base, or a bear? Are you a bull? Are you a base? Or are you a bear? Okay. I want to see where everybody stands right now. Show us the skin dirty. Ooh, I'm going to have to, man. How many likes are we at? You got to let me know how many likes we're at. The dip doesn't bother me. It's the sideways action for weeks. Yeah, I know it gets boring, bro. Base case and bear case. We have base from Mikey Auger. We have bull from Diego on X, guys. If you're on X, make sure you hit that like and repost. Much love, guys. We have cheat potion maker. Bro is literally spawning alchemy to make love potions out here. Can you make a potion for us? For potion maker, can you make a potion that will pump the markets? Please do so, brother. I stay base, dude, all day. Bull here. Project Lani. Bull. A lot of bulls. Okay, a lot of bulls. We have one bear. Base the bear. Actually, we have two bears. The black is a bear. That's his name, okay? I wasn't saying it like that. That's his name. Don't clip me, okay? Don't clip me here. I'm confused with large shorts. Yeah, we'll cover all this, guys. All right, so let's go into the market here today. So here's bull theory. I wanted to pull up a few different analysts' perspectives on this because obviously there's going to be people giving their entire opinions on this all day. So I wanted to give you two really good breakdowns. That first one was on FOMO.io. If you guys haven't used FOMO.io, it's completely free. You can get all your guys' crypto news here, okay? It is the best crypto news app. If you're not using it, you're missing out. But that is where we read the first article here, and we're going to be covering the Time Traveler from XRP, apparently. But bull theory here on X, why Powell's speech tomorrow at Jackson Hole, which is today now, could move the markets. The Jackson Hole Symposium is a prestigious, we already went through all that. Why is it important? So for anybody that's tuning in, I actually totally forgot to explain this. But the reason why the Jackson Symposium is so important is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, often uses this stage once a year to signal a big policy shift, specifically on interest rates, inflation, and liquidity. or retail. Basically, it's like the Oscars of monetary policy. It's where all the world's bankers, all of these bankers, guys, they come together collectively and they have a giant Mandingo party, okay? This is like the P. Diddy, I got to be careful on that word, on those type of white-collar parties, but for economics, bro. This is in the middle of Wyoming. Apparently, it's beautiful. It is disgustingly expensive to get tickets. In fact, shout out to Andrew Scaramucci for his son trying to scam us out of $10,000 tickets. That is how much these are going on secondary markets. Was I supposed to say that? Probably not. But, bro, Scaramucci's son is mooching off retail for ticket value. Basically, it's like the Oscars of monetary policy. Markets wait for it because it's a single line from Powell can move stocks, bonds, and Bitcoin globally. Market reaction in the last 5 years. So from 2021 to 2025, here's the reaction from the markets. In 2021, markets reacted positively. In 2022, the Fed took a hawkish stance amid highest inflation, causing sharp declines in equity and crypto markets. That was the middle of the bear market. 2023, markets gained modestly. 2024, mixed signals. He got political. And now in 2025, we're expecting a lot of negativity out of this. Markets have reacted negatively before the event amid fears of tightening policies. So is this a buy the rumors, sell the news event? Or is this the opposite because we're selling into the event and in fact, we're going to pump afterwards? It's going to be interesting here. Jackson Hole is about to get loose after this meeting. Mr. Kennedy, call me RFK because we're going to need to call what do you call a doctor that like researches that part of the body? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. We'll see what happens. Well, according to Morgan Stanley, one of the largest banks, they said that the Fed will be guided by CPI and jobs data, not Jackson Hole. We'll see if they're right about anything because Morgan Stanley usually be wrong. But again, guys, Fed watch tool. We're now looking at a 71% chance we get a rate cut in September instead of the 90% that it was. We still have a high odd of a 25 basis point rate cut. Nothing phases me. Going to very strong B. Are we rebounding right now? Bro, I wanted to enter a trade, but I didn't enter a trade, bro. I should have entered that trade, man. Chat, we're ripping, bro. We're ripping, man. We're ripping. We'll see if we can continue to rip to the upside. Now, 1 hour and 7 minutes away, guys. Hit that like button, repost. We're going to be watching this live 1 hour and 7 minutes. I'm going to start the intro and hand off the baton to the morning show, chat. So make sure you stick around, all right? Looking at X here, the total crypto market chart is at a crucial level. It's currently showing a bullish retest. Let's actually start this before we get to the altcoin conversation, okay? I'm going to go full screen right now. I want to ask chat here right now, what is your number one altcoin pick for this cycle? And put in the chat, okay? I only want the altcoin you think is underrated and that we should dollar cost average into as the market's down right now. I want to see what everybody's buying right now. Personally, I'm all about that Chainlink life. I'm all about that Chainlink life, but I want to know what you guys are picking up. Instantly, we have Handy with a Handy Yandy. That's a crazy name. Handy Yandy, man. What type of handies are you giving? Wow, a lot of these coming in. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to unplug this camera and switch to my phone camera for 2 seconds because my phone's not, or my PC's dying, of course, because you can only have one. I can only have the camera plugged in or the charger plugged in. Shout out to Lenovo for the worst ever design in history of PCs, bro. This is why you're the reason why I'm going to switch to Mac, dude. All right, let's plug. Let's go in. Where did the charger go? Oh, it's down here. You guys can still hear me. You can still hear me. You can still hear me. Don't worry. Don't freak out. There we go. Guys, give me a 1 in chat if the audio is fine. Give me a 1 in chat if the audio is fine. Yeah, it won't work for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried. It like won't connect. It's like so like it goes to it and then won't render. I'm like, what the heck? Like, but it should usually. It works on any other computer I have, just not this one. It's this damn Lenovo. We're good? All right, chat, we're good. You guys want a little Bali tour too? I'll give you a tour of the house if you guys want in a little bit while we wait for the Jackson Hole. But we're gonna get to news right now. We gotta do some trading first. We're gonna lock in. I also have a way here, chat. It finally happened on FOMO mode, but I'll show you guys it shortly. You can finally start clip farming and making money to start trading with free dollars in crypto for the first time. But okay, let's go over to Sijul here. But I want to go through the comments here. So Top projects to accumulate in crypto right now. The number one altcoins, according to chat, Cardano. We have a key tarded. Dude, that is fire, bro. Too much at once. That is a great way to say. But Kita, Cardano. We have G Palmer, Link, Arrow, and Ondo. Again, guys, I'm naming off the most underrated altcoins in the market in the perspective of chat here. Mamo. I think Mamo is actually highly underrated. Where are you, bro? I'm in Bali, Indonesia right now with the family, dude. I'm actually with our developers. In fact, we got Marmar and a few people from the Discord here right now as well. Let's go, baby. That's OGs in the Discord chat. Say what's up. Like, guys, I'm hiring people straight up from the Discord. It's crazy. Marmar was here early on when we first took $3,000 to $150K in the Telegram, which is crazy. It's proof that that was real, homie. Kita, Sui, Aptos. Sui needs Jesus, Aerodrome, Tau. Okay, I like a lot of these. I like a lot of these here. Link, Sui, Ondo, BMix, XDC, Captain Hook. I just sat down with the founder and the one who wrote the XDC white paper last night. That was an insane conversation, bro. How many people in chat hold XDC? I was literally sitting down with the founder who wrote the white paper for Zinfin last night. That was crazy. That was actually a crazy experience. Really cool time. But let's go over to this first chart. So the total crypto market cap chart is at a crucial level. It's currently showing a bullish retest of the flipped all-time high. Also, everybody's saying, what's up, Marmar? However, is probably about to pay attention. It's probably time to pay attention. If this level doesn't hold, we might see a correction back to demand, similar to the price we saw back in April. This chart right here, love how he puts himself on here. Altcoin, kind of a stud, bro. Not even going to lie. But that demand would be, man, we're looking at a 3.77 trillion. So like a 30% pullback on altcoins. Everybody's predicting a 30% pullback, chat. Alt season is inevitable. According to Mr. Crypto, we are close. Don't give up here. We're only halfway into this run. So honestly, it wouldn't be shocking if we saw a dip. You can see back here at the 51 range, we ranged for months and months and months before the blow off top. Again, we're all expecting this blow off top. I just want people to be reminded, chat, okay? This may not be the blow off top everybody's expecting. A blow off top this cycle might mean you see 2, 3, 4Xs on your favorite altcoins rather than 10, 20, 30Xs like you saw in 2021 because there's way more cryptos this time around. Where's my H-bar Barians, baby? Right here, my guy. I see you, the lazy guy. Plume Virtuals and Ondos are good prices. I agree, man. I totally agree with you. Moving on here, all eyes on the Fed meeting we just watched, but breaking news. I actually almost titled the stream this. This is interesting. I want chat right now. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to give you my opinion, but do you think BlackRock is manipulating the markets? Yes or no? Is BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager in the world, manipulating the price of Bitcoin? Yes or no? Because breaking news, this was only a few hours ago. BlackRock just sold $500 million of Bitcoin and continued to dump more. What's happening here? This is the question. Chat saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Personally, obviously the ETFs, these are going to be investors, I think, that are panic selling on the custodian level. But I 100% believe institutions are manipulating the markets. Why? Because there's something known as A books and B books. If there was no market manipulation, you wouldn't have two different order flows that track all the liquidity in between the two books. You have market makers and you have your exchanges, your institutions, and they each have a different book. And retail is the one that's trading between the liquidity of those two books. So they have data that retail cannot see. They have data that retail cannot produce. And they're going to constantly take advantage of us, bend over retail, and suck out all of the liquidity out of that canal, brother. As we just, she came in at the worst time, bro. Nice to meet you too. I'm like over here, like doing like visuals of people. Anyways, throw me off. BlackRock is selling $500 million worth of Bitcoin, chat. Yes, market makers are manipulating. Yes, yes, yes. 10 a.m. East. They're supposed to make money, not just sit on coins, though. They have a board that tells them when we need money. They do, but they make more money off all of the fees. Here was a pretty good chart, though. Crypto. I like this chart a lot. I do. Again, if you guys don't know Crypto, he's kind of a beast, brother. He's like one of the biggest KOLs on YouTube, but he has called a lot of the moves in crypto, and he's an OG at this point. Reverse head and shoulders pattern playing out on the 4-hour on Ethereum. That might take a few days to play out, but reverse head and shoulders tends to be pretty aggressive in terms of price action to the upside. In fact, if you're to take this bullish price, you're looking at a $4,700 Ethereum again very, very soon, which will be really, really big for the market. Pain roadmap here. This is coming from Crypto Legend. Here's your bear case, chat. Here's your bear case price prediction, okay? Your bear case price prediction. We're looking at, if you're following this, it might be a Wyckoff here, but Patron de Doblo Tecno, okay? We're going Spanish today, brother. We're going Spanish on the technicals. But according to Crypto Legend here, if we lose this major key area of support, which he is believing we're going to at $112,450, chat, the downside target, $103,978. You're looking at a double bottom around one of these ranges towards $103,000 or $102,000, maybe a flash liquidation crash, followed by an uptick back to 112K before we reach those all-time highs. Will this happen? I don't know, Chad. I see this all day, every day. We need a deep dive on XDC. I might have to make a new one, man. It's been a while here. Breaking news, U.S. inflation climbs back up to 2% from the Fed's target. Should we be worried if inflation's at 2%? Does that mean Jerome Powell in 58 minutes is going to announce that he is not cutting interest rates? Because if he doesn't cut interest rates, that is going to be bad for the markets. That's going to cause, obviously, a buying opportunity. But that is what would pull us back to that $103,000 range. I know you don't want to see it. I know what people want to say, that we're still, in up-only mode. That still doesn't technically even classify us being in a bear market. It just could be a gnarly correction. Again, I don't believe that's going to happen, but we'll see here. Look how wish-wash Bitcoin is right now. $112,323. Ethereum, $4,250. What I want to see on Ethereum here, guys, is going to be turning into the support. This breakout pattern here is usually very, very bullish. If ETH can actually turn this range into support, and on the hourlies, a 4-hour, we can see that MACD already starting to be overextended to the downside. Let's look at the 4-hour chat. 4 hours not looking nearly as good. We want to see that push and that price action up to 45.66. That's what I want to see on altcoin or on Ethereum. What makes me a little bit more nauseous is going to be the ETH BTC chart. But even here, you have a reverse head and shoulders pattern that could be playing out before we get to that next push higher. And this really, unfortunately, guys, I know a lot of you don't like this, right? I know a lot of you don't want to admit this. You hate politics. But the reality of the situation is today, the market is going to be completely based off the price movement of Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. If you don't want to trade the market today, I don't judge you. But today, what's going to matter is 100% price volatility from Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. So just be prepared for that. That means all the way through, you have another 3 hours, chat, of volatility because Donald Trump and Jerome Powell could just say something that spooks the markets. It's a lot of spook here. They'll cut interest rates. They're not going to give anyone that much of a discount point to buy. Chad. Market makers move the markets, not Powell's mouth. I disagree with that completely, Danny. That's literally disproven. I've live streamed every FOMC meeting for like the last 6 years, and it's very clear that markets move based off Jerome Powell's speech. Like, he could say one hawkish term, and that could completely pivot the entire conversation of market money and money flow into this market. You got to be cautious on Jerome Powell days. If Jerome Powell's speeches did not matter, trading Jerome Powell speeches would be like one of the best things you probably could possibly do. Next here, we have exactly 24 hours ago. Again, Kanye West launched his cryptocurrency token, Yeezy, which has since plummeted 75%. Chat, who would have thought that Kanye would rug pull his own community? I mean, that was kind of obvious. It was kind of obvious. Here's XR. I thought this was funny. John Squire here put on X that this is like the reaction of XRP holders. It is not at all. Yeah, you're good at walking back. Yeah, you guys do whatever you want. This isn't just XRP holders. I think this is the current state of any crypto holder in the market right now. Take a walk. Unfazed, bro. That spin was great. Unfazed. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, that's how I even feel right now. Like there's bears crawling out of the gutter again, dude. They're like, they're just like deprived of nutrition. But at the end of the day, this is looking really, really good. This is looking really, really good. Unfazed, bro. Yo, Mogsy, what's up, chat? W Tism, bro. Dude, can we get W's in the chat for the Tisms? The Tisms is where it's at, man. The Tisms are where it's at. 54 minutes until we can have a full Tism breakdown here. Let's look at some breaking news here before we get to some charts. I'm going to do some breaking. I'm going to do some chart action here with you guys. But I do want to pull up the latest news. So latest news as of the last 5 minutes, chat. You have a bullish signal, blockchain. That's just literally a promotion. XRP price prediction as Ripple struggles at $3. Brett, meme coins coming back. Let's see. SHIB, BNB. Doesn't look like we have any crazy breaking news right now other than waiting for Jerome Powell here. Ripple, shout out to XRP holders. Ripple expands RLUSD into Japan with SBI collaboration. They've already been working with SBI, but that's a pretty big news for Ripple there. But that's the only breaking news. Oh, MetaMask set to launch dollar peg stablecoin MUSD with okay, hold up. I think we just found alpha, dude. Chat, I think we just found alpha. MetaMask launching a token, MUSD stablecoin backed by dollar reserves. Here we go. Take a listen here. MetaMask, the most widely used Ethereum wallet, is preparing to roll out its first stablecoin, according to a familiar source. This is interesting. MetaMask has assembled a strong network of partners to support the project. I wonder who they're going to partner with on the infrastructure with this. Built with Bridge. Oh, Stripe, homie. Stripe is. Chat, if you want to know a project, if you want the next 100x, I don't say this ever. If anybody in chat has a connection to Stripe, please let me know. I won in the pre-sale, bro. Chat, what do you think if Stripe launches a cryptocurrency? What does it go to? What does it go to? I showed a short says I'm sus, and brother, I'm right there with you, man, dude. I hold XRP, remember? You know how it is. You know how it is, dude. Have one of your Discord guys fix the smoke detector. Do you guys hear a smoke detector? Oh, no, it's not a smoke detector. That's just my black friend. I wish you guys could see what was going on behind the scenes. You guys want to tour the house real quick? I can give you guys a tour. But I need I need a lot of likes if you guys want me to do a little 5-minute tour. I'm happy to show you a 5-minute tour. We gotta be. Stripe is hated by many econ guys because they always hold their money for no reason. Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, Stripe's like the biggest processing payment platform I've ever seen in my life, dude. We need to clip that, dude. That was a funny clip, bro. That was a funny clip. Where are we at with the charge? All right, we're gonna go back to. I'm going to switch back to the camera. So let's charge this real quick here, guys. We're now 51 minutes. So do me a favor, okay? We have 5,700 people watching right now. Hit the like button, okay? Share the stream, repost. I'm going to do for a quick 60 seconds. It's going to be 60 seconds. I'm going to show you guys a little tour of the house, our Bali villa. It's a massive mansion, massive villa. The whole team will kind of show what's going on here. Everybody's cooking on. And then we're going to go right back to the chart actions. We're going to go right back to the charts and Jerome Powell, okay? Here we go. Let me go full screen here. I'm going to flip this around. How are we doing? How does this look? Okay. I'm just going to do. There we go. All right. I'm going to leave it on this, chat. I'm going to leave it on this. Okay. We're going to leave it on each price chart right now. Actually, I have to put it on the minute chart, so everybody's panicking. You got to be on the minute chart. If you're not on the minute chart, are you even a trader? If you're not on the minute chart, are you even a trader? Okay, so we got Marmar from the Discord here. Let's freaking go. Don't mean the, but with his friends from, you're all from the same area, right? Yeah. Yeah, sick. Let's go. So they're just cooking up some dev work. We got everybody's kind of part of FOMO here, but we got the whole team right now just crushing and coding and doing things. I don't want to show you that can't necessarily, but just absolutely crushing it here. We got Zach on the couch. I can't see the screen anymore. Wait, is this not? Hold up. Did I screw up? Why is this different than the phone? Okay, I don't know. It's still working though. You guys can see here. All right, so let's go outside. This is the fire alarm. Okay, that was the fire alarm. That was the There's no audio, dude. I'm retarded. Chat, I'm retarded. I realize this is my mic. This is my phone. And if I don't have my mic and my phone together, you can't hear me. But you guys got to see a little bit of the outside. Did you guys get to see it? There you go. You guys got to see it a little bit. Okay. So yeah, you guys couldn't hear me, but that was the pretty much full breakdown. I can walk back. So you guys saw everything. It's like it's just a massive villa. That's all you guys need to know. Good kitchen, good vibes, good people. And yeah, man, just cooking out here for a couple weeks. There you go. All right. All right. We're back. Let me plug in the other camera. We're going to go boop. Yo, dude, we're back to the 4K quality, chat. We're back to the 4K quality. Nice brag, dude. It's not a brag, man. It's just me showing you what I've done with my crypto life, man, or crypto journey. You guys can do it too, man. It's showing you what this is what I've been doing for 8 years, man. It took me 8 years to get here today. So it's a humble brag, I'll say. It's a humble brag at that point. $112,000 Bitcoin, though, guys. We're now only 46 minutes away from Jerome Powell speaking live. 46 minutes away from Jerome Powell speaking live. Badass spot. You'll appreciate it, guys. I'm in Bali right now for CoinFest in Asia. So I'm in Indonesia. We're in Indonesia right now. 9 to 5 suck. They don't suck, man. I mean, there's some great people like have really good career-oriented jobs. Do teachers, police officers, etc. Man, doctors, like they're much needed, man. Nothing wrong with that. You only make money from subs, not the crypto. Guys, yes, I make only money from subs, dude. I am the worst trader ever. Definitely have never turned any money into anything. I just farm and just do rug pulls and meme coins, man. That's just what I do, man. I'm just like every other crypto KOL on X. How did you know, man? You got me, bro. You got me, man. Bali. Yes, I'm in Bali right now. In at work, trying to break out and run a business, dude. Dude, do it, man. Just start the business, bro. Just start the business. Your nose itch, bro. Yeah, dude. I'm like super itchy from dude. I'm like burnt and covered in bug bites. Like I'm not used to the jungle, dude. Do you see my skin color, chat? Do you see? Look at this. Look at this. This is. You can see my tank top. You can see my tank top, bro. I got burnt, bro. I got burnt, man. I got burnt. That was like 20 minutes in the sun. I can't even do 20 minutes in the sun, dude. I'm a vampire, bro. I'm a vampire, man. We're neighbors. Yo, lightning rails. What's up, man? Come over, bro. Literally come over, my man. Mystery meat? Ooh, maybe, bro. It's the yes, guys. It's the I found some pills from the previous no, I'm gonna stop there. We don't need to joke about that. White boy chest blushing. Dude, when I blush, my cheeks don't turn red. I'm so white that when I eat Wonder Bread after I soak it in water, my chest blushes, bro. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. What should we be expecting for this speech? What should we be expecting for this speech, chat? We have no idea, guys. Bottom line is if so, Johnny, anybody coming in right now that wants to know what to expect from Jerome Powell's speech, every single analyst that we went over today is pretty much giving a different opinion. There's a bull case, a base case, and a bear case. And we won't know until I really recommend nobody trades today. Unless you are okay with getting stopped out. If you open up a trade today, you have Jerome Powell speaking, and then you have Donald Trump speaking all at the same time. Test, test, test. I hear myself in my phone. There we go. Is the audio good, chat? Can you put one in chat to make sure it's good? Same lemon drop Quaaludes? Bro, dude, lemon drop. Dude, if Jordan Belfort was here and offered it up, man, I'm not going to say I wouldn't partake. I wouldn't say I'm not going to partake here. Let's pull up crypto here. Let's see if there's any breaking news on the recent terms. We're all good, man. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to make sure because I heard a little bit of an echo there. All right, crypto with Leo. Oh, hell yes, man. Reminder, Fed Chair Powell speaks in 60 minutes. By the way, I don't think Jerome Powell speaks in 60 minutes. Did anyone tell me what UTC plus 3 was? Does anyone know exactly what time Jerome Powell is speaking today? Here's 45 minutes ago. Donald Trump Jr. says his family is all in on Bitcoin. If they were to bank, that's coming from Altcoin Daily. Other breaking news. What's this right here? CoinDesk posted crypto czar David Sachs and Bitcoin were featured in the new South Park episode. I'm going to have to check that out. How the Genius Act has changed crypto and futures. Let's take a listen to this.
Has changed a lot of things. Even 30 days ago, it was illegal for anyone in Silicon Valley, like many of the big tech companies, to actually do anything productive with crypto. That is no longer the case as of roughly 30 days ago. And I think once those guys flip the switch, that's when this goes truly, huge. But I think a huge part of that.
Interesting. Solana's going to go crazy with tokenization. 4 hours ago, the CFTC launches next phase of crypto sprint initiative based on Trump's crypto roadmap. Beautiful, man. Me waiting for alt season so I can finally live my life. Yo, dude. Can't we all just have an alt season so we can retire together? That's all we want, man. Is it too much to ask here? If I get rich in crypto, I wouldn't quit my job. I just dress like this until they fired me. That is perfect, bro. Dude, what are those shoes, homie? Yo. Has anybody seen this? Hold on, open. What are these, bro? What are these? Hold on, did I break my PC? I think I broke my PC. There we go. Bro. Chat, what do we think of these shoes? Rate these shoes at 1 out of 10 right now. Rate these 1 out of 10. 10 is max-tism. 10 is max-tism. 1 is yeah, I like 10 as max-tism. 1 out of 10 right now. Yes, I also think no cut coming. Super hawkish. Yeah, I'm thinking super hawkish today. -1, 15, bro. These are straight up Cybertruck shoes, man. I think that's what those are. Those are cyber shoes right there. Those are cyber shoes, man. Dude, if Jerome Powell doesn't walk out at this Jackson Hole symposium speech with those shoes, honestly, I don't even think he should be Fed chair. I think every Fed chair should wear those shoes, man. Kind of lit, bro. Kind of lit. When is the speech? Again, guys, we're now only 40 minutes away. Looking at the charts here, let's go ahead and pull up. Let's do some TA. Let's pull up phone mode right now, guys. Here's what I'm expecting for Ethereum today. What we want to do, let's go ahead and load this because it was on my laptop. I got to load the PC version. I love this kind of studio vibe, guys. I got the whole PC here. Brought the full PC out. Got the laptop. We got monitors everywhere. It's low-key clean, man. It's low-key clean. There we go. Oh, went too far out. There we go. Okay. Got to scale it to the monitor here. So Bitcoin liquidation map on the 12-hour chart. Let's refresh this. I don't like this. So there is liquidity at $111,000, which means if Jerome Powell speaks, guys, and Donald Trump brings the price down to this range, I would be looking for a long towards 110K. If we look at the 24-hour range, let's go ahead and pull up the 24-hour range. You're looking at, yeah, a lot of liquidity at $111,000. I actually really don't like that. I really don't like that. I really don't like that. I'd be watching for this 100%. So you have a nice dip to 111K. Looking at our signals here, let's go ahead and pull up the signals chart here today. Let's go ahead and turn this to, let's go to the, honestly, I want to go to a larger time frame. Let's go ahead and go to 250. Save changes. See if this loads here on my nice Wi-Fi. Sell everything, panic, shit hit the fan, guys. Guys, do we buy or sell right now, chat? Do we buy or sell right now? Let me know. Do we buy or sell? So nothing on the 4-hour at least, or on the hourly time frame here. We do have a massive sell block at 112K. I don't like seeing this, right? The volume profile is becoming pretty heavy resistance. 113K is going to be massive resistance. So if we do drop, you're looking at, I mean, your next big buy order is 108K. So that analyst wouldn't be too wrong on the support region of 108,000. Chat saying don't do anything. Buy. Dude, I think we just have the smartest chat in crypto. I keep asking you guys, man. You have Tilt No Guilt saying, man, I'm gonna keep edging, bro. Bro, I didn't know you edged to me. That's kind of wild, homie. How many you be edging to us at Discover? That's crazy, bro. That's a crazy question. I can't believe I just asked that. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I want you guys all to be, can you guys do me a favor, chat? Can we make a deal together? Just type yes in chat if you agree with this, okay? I want you all to be super sus today. Just be as sus as you possibly could be with DZ and TJ. I don't want them to know what's happening. Hopefully they're not watching right now. But I want you guys to just be as sus as possible with them today. Just literally go in there and be super sus, bro. Don't tell them though, chat, okay? Don't tell them why. Just as soon as the show starts, just be sus, please. I beg you, bro. I beg you. That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. They won't know what hits them. 42.37. Okay. What do we see moving here? BNB, bro. Binance. Man, I should have bought Binance so long ago, dude. Binance. Bro, Binance isn't even having a bear market, chat. Binance isn't even having a bear market, bro. Like, should we just be buying BNB? Look at this shit, bro. Why are we even trading Bitcoin, bro? We should literally only be longing BNB. We should only be longing BNB. Are you coked up today? No. Why do you guys, just because I'm wearing a white shirt in all red, guys, doesn't mean I'm like every other finance bro. Also, I wouldn't even know how to get that in Bali, bro. I don't speak Balinese. What do I do? Fly to fucking Indonesia, meet an Asian, and just like trust him that white powder in the language I don't understand isn't, you know, isn't like fentanyl. You guys are crazy, bro, for thinking I have the balls to do that, man. I have to worry about not dying on a moped. Do you guys even know what it's like driving a moped in Bali? It's crazy, dude. It's the craziest experience I've ever had. It's the best experience. But dude, if you're not sober, you're dying. I would not be live right now. I would not be live right now. I would have I would have fallen 20 feet into a rice farm and hit my head on some concrete piece, bro. That's what would have happened. That's what would have happened. You know? I'll show you guys a picture. Here, you guys want to see a picture? Let me show you guys a picture of this. I'll put it in the Discord right now. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up right now. Which, by the way, guys, if you guys aren't in the Discover Crypto Discord, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Let's go to, I'm just going to put it in the Joshua Jake updates. And I'm going to pull it up on the stream here. Dude, I'm going to show you how many mopeds there are, dude. I'm going to post a couple pictures. There's some cool stuff here I want to show you guys. This is a vibe, though. That was a vibe. Let's go to, where did my wife post this? Oh, I don't know if I have any hectic stuff because I don't record while I drive. Let me try this. Oh, too big of a file size? I knew I was too big. So much for those average file sizes. I bet you guys all have guys, how average is your size? Let me know. How big's that file? How many gigabytes you stacking? How many gigabytes we stacking here? Let me post it. That's really too big. That's crazy. I can't post it. Okay, I'm going to just show you. I'm going to just have to show you then. I'm going to have to show you. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. Power, energy savings on. My phone's dying again. We're flipping the camera back here. This is the craziest, like, this is the crazy turn of events here with like how I have to switch this camera. I don't know why the camera phone though is like, oh wait, that's why. No, it's on. It is good. It's good. Here you go. Bali moped chaos. That's I'm gonna write, dude. This is what it's like.
The best scooter rental in Bali. Owning a scooter is definitely a major highlight.
Today's plan is to go and
bro
explore
makes it look
Auckland.
easy.
First step, we need to go high.
Okay, I gotta find a real video. I'll find a real video and show it with you guys in the Discord. Can you share your Discord link? Yes, the Discord link's actually in the description of the live stream. You just click on this Nanka Lopez. Click on the just on the description there. The 3 bits is killing me, dude. Oh, yeah. I broke. I just realized what you guys meant by size, bro. 3 bits, 1 kilobyte. That's crazy. Vietnam's probably more intense. Yeah, whatever street I was on today. So let me pull this up. I posted it in the Discord right now. Here, look, check this out. Check this out. So if you guys are also, by the way, if you're not in the Discord, this is what you guys get with the Discover Crypto Discord. We post all of our trades and updates in here. But look how many mopeds were here, dude. This is at Bali. This is at the Coin Fest. These are all mopeds, bro. Just mopeds and mopeds for miles. Just all mopeds. All moped. There's millions and millions of mopeds, dude, here. If you don't know how to drive a motorcycle, you're actually screwed. You're actually screwed. This was pretty cool, though. That was at CoinFest. I took a picture of this guy because he had nice nips. That was pretty chill. That was a pretty chill time. But yeah, guys, if you want that exclusive Bali update, the house tours, all the calls we do, make sure you guys come join and get into Discord, guys. It's completely for free. You just got to sign up for a referral here, guys. Everybody come in. We're now 32 minutes away. 32 minutes away from the Jackson Hole Symposium live event. Stop missing out, dude. Stop missing out. BNB 847. Yeah, Bitcoin's not bouncing really, Chad. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Bitcoin's kind of just like, it's still at 112K. How the hell do you remember where you parked? Tyler, I don't even want to talk about that. It actually took me so long to find my moped, bro. It took me so long to find the moped. It took me probably 15 minutes. Because you also have to remember the license plate number because they're all the same color. It just was so long, man. Josh, will you sell or buy? Chat, are you selling or buying? Are you selling or buying? I think right now, chat, personally, my opinion, my humble opinion, not financial advice, is now's the time to dollar cost average. I'd be dollar cost averaging when you can right now. I'm eyeing Leak for sure. I'm eyeing Chainlink for sure. Chainlink, I just feel like wants to rip to $30. One of the most beautiful charts. It's in a nice megaphone pattern. But in terms of H-bar and your favorite altcoins, like you're looking at some pretty decent DCA positions. Dump then buy. It's kind of a good thing to dump before Jackson Hole. Possibly, yeah. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. Next time attach an air tag to your scooter, I still don't think I would find it. I'm in cash, no reason to gamble before noon. That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're actually right, guys. Like, I wouldn't buy till after. I'd probably wait till like Tuesday or Wednesday next week, to be honest. Excuse me. 20x long with a very tight stop loss. Dude, that's I would do like a 3x long, homie. 3x, bro. You're getting a tight stop loss. You're going to get stopped out instantly on that. Like Bitcoin would have to drop to like 112 or 111.9, which on the 12-minute, oh, that was an obvious buy right there, but it's all good. It's all good. Look at the Mamo chart. Let's pull up Mamo. Mamo is at 17 cents, bro. That is not up only. It does look pretty good, though. It's a pretty healthy chart. Maybe like a... I mean, we're hoping for a cup and handle there, but that didn't end up being the case. We'll see if that runs. We'll see if that's runs. But Mammo's also brand new. Look at the daily chart. This is the daily chart on Mammo. It's way too early, home dog. Way too early. Look at that. Not even data on the daily. Aerodrome. Aerodrome's another favorite, but Aerodrome, I'm biased, chat. Aerodrome's at like not near all-time highs, but like it's doing really good. We literally bought the day of the bottom. So Aerodrome, I think everybody should be holding, but at this point, it's not a good entry point. I don't think Aerodrome's a good entry point right here. I'd wait for a significant pullback. Like I think there's way better plays you can make than Aerodrome right now. Like I think Aerodrome could still go crazy, but like it's just we got in at 33 cents. So like I'd be doing you a disservice if I told you like now was like the best time to buy. Look at Alien Base. Josh, buy Yeezy money. Dude, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to actually refinance my house to go in on Yeezy coin. There's no way Ye is going to screw me over, right? Let me go to Yeezy coin. USD. Bro. Chat, what is this? That is crazy, bro. This is Kanye West meme coin, chat. This is Kanye West meme coin. What do we think of this? What do we think of Ye coin? Yeezy coin. A beautiful chart. You guys are nuts, dude. You're actually nuts. You're actually nuts. Let's go to what else we got live right now. Nice big L. Kanye beat Powell to the punch. Yeah, Kanye rugged the market before Powell could. Hold up. Wait, whoa. We have to ask chat. I haven't even asked you this yet, chat. Yes or no? Let me know in the chat right now. Type, no, not yes or no. 1 or 2. Type 1 in the chat if you hold Yeezy coin. Type 2 if you don't. Type 1 in the chat if you hold Yeezy coin. Type 2 if you don't. I actually forgot to ask this to you guys. I want to see if anybody actually bought this. Did anybody buy Yeezy? 1 in chat if you bought, 2 if you didn't. It's all fucking 2s, bro. Who bought this shit? Who actually bought this shit? It's all 2. Oh, no, dude. Joe Byron, bro. Joe Byron. He might be a troll, bro. We have Geo My High, man. Man, chat. I feel so bad for people that actually bought this. People actually bought this token, man. So sad, dude. What a sad day, bro. What a sad day. That's intense. Kanye rugged himself. Dude, this is like, I don't even know what this is in comparison to, man. I don't even know what this is. I mean, it does look like it's about to bounce here. I don't know about you guys. It's kind of a sexy chart, dude. Imagine this was your first entry point to crypto. You lost all your money. It's just insiders dumping their ass. Dude, he probably made like $50 million off this. Trump coin. Actually, how is Trump doing? Trump's at $8. I mean, you obviously have market manipulators like they're just pumping up the token here. But it's pretty similar. I mean, it did what Trump... It took Trump a few months to do this. It took almost a year. Yeezy did what it took Trump a year to do in 40 seconds. Not 40 seconds, but in less than 12 hours. Melania is literally a scam. Yeezy looks like a black hole chart. Hawk Tua coin. Dude, Hawk Tua girl, man. I thought she was going to make us all rich, bro. Oh, let's pull up Pengu. Good chat. Pengu. Pengu's chart right now. Wait, Pengu's at 9 cents right now? Or 2 cents? 2.9? Damn, dude. Damn, bro. Pengu kind of looking cute on the daily, man. Pengu's looking pretty good. Bitcoin on Solana, Mammo time. We just pulled up Mammo. Alchemy Pay. You want to know something cool? We're partnering with Alchemy. You guys excited for that? We're going to be launching a course, a free course. If you guys want to learn how to code, it's going to be completely for free. 2 cents. 0.0199. What is this, bro? I don't know what you even want me to tell you about this. Bro, Alchemy is kind of like the most consistent chart in history. Here you go. Look at this. Who holds Alchemy Pay? Type 4 in chat if you hold Alchemy Pay. Type 4. Can't do ones again because people are going to be like spamming that shit. Type 4 in chat if you hold Alchemy Pay. I don't know if there's probably one guy in chat that holds Alchemy Pay. 2 people. 3 people. Okay. 69, 77. Yo, Hamza, don't get me going crazy, man. But okay, a few people hold Alchemy Pay. All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is your obvious, look at you. This is your range, guys. This is your range. This is like your straight range. So if you're like, if you want to know where Alchemy is going, it's your upper, you're potentially a 2x. Like this is a multi-year range, guys. So until you break out of this range, don't get excited. But, like, with that said, I would look to buy Alchemy Pay around 0.016, and I would look to take profit around 0.05. It's pretty simple. I mean, this is, I don't even have to, like, you guys can see it on this chart, right? You see it here. Hold up. Oh, that was, never mind. OP coin. Let's pull up OP coin. OP coin. 69 cents. Okay, OP. Holy smokes, chat. Hold up. Hold up. I do really, really, really like this. That is a bull div. Yeah, I really like, dude, if OP comes back down to like 35 cents, I'm longing the absolute hell out of that. I mean, that's actually a huge drop from here. Dude, if we get a pullback, I'm buying OP. Look at, that is a huge, the RSI needs to snap up soon. I actually don't mind that. Let's actually pull up the, let's pull up this. Here we go. I'm going to look at the liquidations on OP. You think Mammo will be an AI bot for the entire base app? I don't necessarily know, but I mean, Mammo is a really good product, so I wouldn't doubt that it's going to capture some of the market share. But to say the entire thing, I don't know. But to say that it's definitely going to have market share. All right, we're pulling up optimism here on the 12-hour. Dude, OP chat. If you guys want a good trade, if you guys actually want a good trade, OP 73. What is that right now? 69. So 73 cents. Where's the 12-hour? If OP comes down to like 67.7, I'm longing the fuck out of this. Who put this in chat? Who said OP? Honestly, whoever put OP in chat found a good, and I'm talking about a scalp trade. I'd be looking for a scalp swing trade here on OP here over the next, like this, like if we get a pump, it's going to move pretty hard. 3 days. Let's look at this. Let's find all the liquidity. Yeah. So if it goes down to 67 cents, it's ate most of the liquidity. You go to 1 week. It was Hamza. Dude, can we all get love in the chat for Hamza? Let's all get fucking love in the chat for Hamza right now. 73.8 right here. So that's monthly. So all the way to the weekly. Dude, if you can catch a long on OP at 0.679, put that shit on a 3 to 5x leverage, 5% stop loss, dude. You're eating fat, bro. Unless the market is zero, OP is probably like the next big snap. OP is probably the next big snap. Look at this. Let me give you that RR. Okay, we're going to look at the risk to reward here. Okay, we're going to look at that risk to reward here. This is the 3-day. Let's go to the daily, right? So let's go to the 12-minute. So let me see what that would be, right? Let's go down to, okay, so let's say 67 cents, right? You get that liquid, which honestly, we saw a liquidation sweep right here. Saw the liquidation. So if we see a disgusting liquidation sweep today, and I'm talking like Jerome Powell sparks this bitch down to the downside, dude, and just goes to numbers that it shouldn't, You catch that. I mean, I'm on the 12-minute time frame. The 12-minute even looks good. The 30-minute looks good. The 2-hour looks good. The only thing that doesn't is like the 4-hour can continue. Like it could come lower. So let's say 63.31. Okay. 63.31. We grab our ruler, putting at that percent. That upside is at 75. So that's 10%. 5x, 50% gain. Stop loss. I'd probably put like the stop loss at like, I want to list more than 5%. So you're doing, let me try that again. Long position, 67. Okay, so say that's your stop loss. So 10, so you're at a shit, man. You're at like a 7-to-1 RR. That's a 7-to-1 RR. If this gets stopped out, and let's say it comes back down to, I don't think it's going to come this low. I'm going to watch OP. I'm bringing OP in. I'm bringing OP in. Okay, we're adding this to the watch list. There's going to be some good trades on OP. Type 1 in chat right now if you hold OP. Type 1 in chat right now if you hold OP. OP. All right, we're pulling OP up. A lot of ones in chat. A lot of ones in chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be watching OP. Next liquidation sweep, I'm probably going to open a low leverage long on a nice OP position. Because, like, OP is one of the, like, I've traded OP quite a few times in my career now. Like, if you look at OP, like, OP in this entire move to the upside, in fact, when I made that when I took that $3,000 into 150K chat, OP was a few of those trades. But, like, when it moves, it moves. When it moves, it moves. Underrated. A lot of VC behind it. Now I do. Well, again, don't fucking ape into it. But yeah, you're looking at a reverse head and shoulder here. I would say your worst case scenario is this thing comes back like you're talking a 50% correction on that. I don't know if that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Look at that. That's a 56% correction here. I don't think that's happening. Not when the daily's already overextended. 16 minutes away from Jackson Hole, guys. 16 minutes from Jerome Powell speaking. Does anyone know exactly what time Powell is speaking, though? Let's pull this up. By the way, guys, quick reminder, 8,000 people are watching right here between X and YouTube, guys. Go ahead, hit that like button and reshare, repost. Appreciate you guys. Jerome Powell's speech, date, time here. Oh, Jesus, man. Oh, wait, no. Wait. Friday morning. So he's leading the conference. I think he's starting off. I think he speaks in 30 minutes. I think we're going to be able to watch this together, guys. My YouTube says 900. We're live on X. We're live on X. We're live on multiple platforms. Guys, we're live on multiple platforms. Uh, 10:30. If it's 10:30, I'm gonna have to let the morning show do it. That was some crazy music. He speaks. Okay, so he speaks in 20 minutes. We're just waiting for them. Jerome Powell.
Are your policies from what the Fed does? In other words, how susceptible are you to either a more dovish or a more hawkish Federal Reserve?
I think central banking in a globalized world is like family business. So we are looking at each other for sure, but we are doing our own monetary policy. We are checking our data. Yes, we know that there are some spillovers from the US policy to the Euro system, but we are doing our independent own monetary policy.
One real ramification that people have looked at so far this year has been the dollar and how much it's weakened, particularly against the Europe. In the first 6 months, we've seen sort of a plateauing out recently, and I am wondering how much of a concern that is for you. I know that different people have talked about levels at which point it becomes a concern. Is there a point where you start to say, maybe this strength is something we don't really want?
So when it comes to exchange rates, I'm often, let me say, not too outspoken. What I can see when I'm checking the data, if you take the long-term mean of the exchange rate between the US dollar and the euro, so we are pretty much.
I just have the, we're just watching the intro to the Jerome Powell speech. I don't know if you guys are going to cover it live here.
Yeah, that's. Oh, did I lose you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I just have like a 2 camera setup here, so it's kind of weird. So you should still be able to hear me though.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Well, I'll put you back.
Yeah, I got you. Hold up. I'll switch cameras for a little bit because I got a. It's interesting here. I got like a nice little janky setup.
Yeah, sorry, I messed. Now I came in and messed everything. I really just wanted to pop in and ask how long you were going to be going. If you're going to stay, it'd be great if you could stay on while Powell comes out. He's supposed to speak at 10. Is that your plan?
Yeah, so I think I can roll straight into your guys' show. I don't think
Perfect.
It should go over at all.
No, that's perfect. We might even pop on with you. I just wanted to make sure you didn't stop right before we start. So we're in here getting set up now, and we'll probably be on close to 10.
I'll probably just let you guys roll into it if that works.
If you can just stay on until as long as you can, and then we'll try to hop on and keep the same stream going.
That's not a problem. We'll crush it. We'll keep it rolling.
Awesome. Shout out to everybody out there.
Good morning.
I hope. Yeah, good morning. I hope you guys are enjoying the morning stream. How's it out? Yeah, I was on earlier when you were talking about being roasted. Yeah. What time is it over there?
It's good. It's been really fun out here. For anybody that knows, like again, I'm at CoinFest right now in Bali. It was only a 2-day event, so but it was incredible. I mean, we got to see some of our partners today. Met with BitGet and a few different companies as well. But tonight I'm gonna try to go to one conference, but one side event. But it's good. I think I'm going to roll through the morning show with the Federal Reserve. So I think we're good. And then there's a couple more tomorrow. I think Polkadot's surprisingly, chat. I know chat always asks about Polkadot. Interestingly enough, like Polkadot's like one of the main sponsors of the events here in Southeast Asia. So we'll learn actually a little bit more about them in their conference tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll be back.
Perfect. See you guys in a bit.
All right. Later.
I do need a charger here for perfect. I see this. I'm gonna plug in my phone here. I'm literally like bouncing in between chargers to keep the phone and everything rolling. If we all get wrecked, here we go. Let's take a listen, guys. They're talking about it. They're not talking. They're playing music, just watching the Dow Jones. Why is the S&P's pumping today? Market did just open here. So Bitcoin's probably pumping right, dude. ETH's plummeting. Wait, is ETH pumping or dumping? ETH's pumping. Oh my God, dude! Look at the ETH God candles coming in. We should have long chat. You scared me out of it. I still have a few DOT. Does anyone even hold DOT anymore? I actually don't know. How many people in chat hold DOT? Let me know. Let me know right now. Knew it. Everything is pumping. Chat, we should have bought, bro. Why did you scare me out of buying, chat? You told me not to buy. You told me not to buy, chat. You scammed me, bro. You scammed me, bro. Do I FOMO into a long position and lose all my money? Where's Bitcoin at? I'm not FOMOing in chat. Negative. Offloaded a while ago. Josh, check gold. What do you mean? I'm looking at gold right now, bro. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Yes, trade with emotions. That's what we do around here. Commodities here. Here's your gold. Gold's running right now with crypto. This shit will tank once Powell talks, probably. Do we think this is a fake out, chat? Is this a fake out? Yes or no? Fake out or what is this? I don't know, man. Oh. ETH 4311, chat. I think we're going back to the moon. We're going back to all-time highs right now, chat. I'm gonna take out I'm emotionally dumping my entire bag right now into the market. I can't handle my emotions, man. I can't, man. I can't do it. I'm like a preteen, bro, going through puberty. I can't. I gotta FOMO in. I gotta FOMO. OP just looks the best, bro. OP looks the best, man. 130K and one. Dude, imagine we go to 130K. That'd be crazy. I doubt that, dude. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's still ugly as shit, dude. There's a ton of liquidity. Ton of liquidity below us. I think we might be getting a little bit of a fit. Look at all the liquidity at $111,000, dude. $111,000 is like looking too good. This is looking too good to be true. Everything's running though. Aerodrome's up 5%. It's just following the same pattern now. Interesting. You already got the bag, bro? Don't FOMO, guys, if you're already in, dude. I'm going to sell everything and put it all in a long leverage position. Bro, OP, what do you think it can reach at the end of 2025? Dude, everybody wants to know about OP, homie. I think OP can go to like $2, man. Like, honestly, like that's not like out of the picture. I think it's already hit $2 before. Yeah, I think like for OP, you want to see $2 again by the end of the year. I don't know if we're going to all-time highs because of the VC level that came into this in March, but I do think you're going to at least test this major 1.68 level. I would like to see that. Love to see that, dude. Thank God I didn't FOMO in, guys. Look at this. If I emotionally aped in right there, I'd be down right now. Free pound. Crazy, dude. Crazy bros out here protesting. Is a fake out? What do you think of? What do you use to long? I use CoinW, but you can use CoinW, Blowfin, or LBank, guys. Go to the description in our link below. Sign up for our Discord. Use any of those, and you'll get free access to our Discord, and you can trade on any of our platforms. Yeah, Moggs, I know, it was wild, man. Crazy. AVAX is like underrated as shit, man. AVAX hasn't done much at all, bro. Type 1 in chat if you hold AVAX. How many of you hold AVAX? I'm actually curious for this one. Dude, AVAX, like, honestly, one of the most underperforming assets this cycle. One of the like, look at this, dude. AVAX been not doing jack shit. A lot of ones in the chat. I do think AVAX will pump again, but you're looking at $50. Like, my target here, I still have it here, $50 is my target. Like, we have to, like, AVAX has to break above $50, turn this into support, and before we're going to move higher. It's mass. Look at this. So resistance, 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 support, breaks through, resistance comes through, can't hold it, turns to resistance, resistance. We need to break through that key level to see more upside. So right now, my target for AVAX, $50. $50. I do actually hold a little bit of AVAX too. Not anything. I think I hold like literally like 30 or 40 AVAX. It's not like not a bag or anything, but I do have some on that wallet still for my old DGen Web3 gaming days, chat. Dogecoin, dude. Meme coins are gonna just pop, dude. When meme coins are ready. Here you go. Bitcoin looking to take off, man. OP's been in range for 5 months. If ETH will rise, OP will break out at once too. Yeah, OP looks good, bro. OP, I should have taken it long, man. I should have taken it long. Fuck. Market open was wild today, man. Market opens wild today. Here you go. Let's hear what they.
I mean, if I think back low these 7 weeks ago when I left the Fed, my last SEP, I had 2 rate cuts in for this year. I think that's still appropriate. There's one other tool, though, that he's not going to signal, which I think is important to put on the table, which is the balance sheet, right? We're talking about the rate cut, but the balance sheet runoff, my own view is I think the Fed should stop the runoff now, right? And that's a signal that we want to sit here and see how things play out. And then maybe in September, a cut or later. But I think the balance sheet, we often forget about it. Again, it's small now because we slowed the rate, but it's still there. And I think it's an important signal that we want to sit and wait. We are entering a period I'm worried about. It feels, it's not the 70s, but it does feel like stagflation light, right? It doesn't feel great. When I talk to my contacts, there's something that just doesn't feel right.
Well, what's the balance of risks right now? Because we've heard a lot of your former colleagues say, we're worried about the labor market, but it still seems to be solid. We're worried about inflation, although it's only ticked up a little bit. We think it might in the future.
So
yeah, I heard a drone outside for a second there, guys. I thought I was Ukraine for a second.
To discern right now. You think we're shrinking the labor force in some ways, right? And so we're keeping unemployment steady-ish. It's going to tick up, but steady-ish. So we're not going to see those big numbers of 100,000, 200,000 jobs. Part of it is because the labor market's shrinking.
Well, what's your take? I'll give you my take in a second, guys.
A wonderful guy, Charlie.
I just gave it for like 2 hours.
He was head of the Philadelphia Fed before you. I want you to recapitulate here right now, freshwater optimism about the American economic experiment. It was with Finn Kinlan, Ned Prescott, and Charlie Plosser in Real Business Cycle Theory. Explain how that innovation isn't going to go away, even with the political intrusion of the moment.
No, I mean, Charlie was one of my mentors, and I just have tremendous respect for him. I was a director of the Fed when he was president, so I got to know him well. I knew him as a business school dean when I was a business school dean. He made tremendous contributions to education, to economics, and not just in macroeconomics, but economics more broadly. And so he's going to be really missed. And he was an incredibly strong and powerful voice for Fed independence.
Speak about centrist America, centrist Republicans, centrist Democrats that took, within the criticisms of RBC, said, what, this is about America and this is about our spirit. Is that at risk right now?
I'm gonna close some tabs,
so
chat.
I used to, people would ask, what am I, a hawk or a dove? And I say I'm an eagle because I'm from Philadelphia. But now
I don't get it.
So funny, bro.
Oh God.
Ask people from
Bro's so funny, chat. Chat, you better laugh at him, chat. Laugh at him. Give him, that was funny. That was funny.
Ooh, sick burn.
Jaw, bro.
I consider myself right now
Get some jaws
pragmatist.
Radical
centrist. We've got to get the center to rise up. In the spirit of what Charlie and his colleagues did, a lot of choppiness in that data right now. And so, yeah, you have to take that data seriously. And you have to be careful not to make anecdotes data, right? But you do need to listen to what people are saying. And people right now are sitting on their hands. What I'm hearing from lots of people is, I need to let some of this uncertainty. Now, the only exception to that are data centers, right? It's roaring ahead. The only problem is we don't have enough power to power these data centers. But there are areas of the economy that are growing, but a lot of people are just waiting.
Can I note here, Mike wants to get a question in. The temperature's dropped since we started live.
Oh, it feels warmer than usual.
It's gone 43
I'm not complaining.
Do we expect snow today?
Oh my God. It's actually warmer than usual.
Tom is not an outdoorsman.
Yeah.
42 degrees.
You can see Pat sitting there just in a sport coat.
Yeah, understatement of the year. Carry on.
I want to ask you about the framework review, which is something that Mr. Powell is likely to talk about today. What's the most important change that they are likely to make?
if you read the framework review, it was written in a period where we thought interest rates were going to be zero or low forever, right? And inflation was going to be under 2%. And so there was that color to the previous review. That's all going to be taken out, obviously. And I hope I haven't seen the final, right? But I hope that they then emphasize more balanced approach and more principles as opposed to tactics. Right? We don't need to get into the details of the tactics. That's what the committee does. They need to reassert the principles of the dual mandate.
Well, going forward, under whatever new framework they have, do you think they can eliminate some of the risk that we saw coming into 2020 when Jay Powell here unveiled the last framework, which less than a year later was being junked because of COVID?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. Like, before I went into every meeting, FOMC meeting, did I review the framework and that guided my decisions? The answer was no, right? You face the situation you have in front of you and you deal with the cards you're dealt with. And so the framework provides a broad sense of where the committee needs to go, but day to day, meeting by meeting, it does not drive.
Wait, this is too important. This is breaking news. Do you read the Fed minutes?
Yeah.
Wow, redhead.
I was in there, yeah.
Exactly, of course. He actually listens too. I am wondering, though, what the risk reward here is, and just to sort of crystallize the moment, what the harm would be of cutting by 25 or 50 basis points. And you talked about how you penciled that in. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Are we just making these big, grand pronouncements about the same thing, that essentially it might make sense to cut on the margins, but not necessarily go wholesale to 1%? I mean, is that essentially what everyone seems to be coalescing around?
I don't see how you would go 1%, right? I mean, that's just simply not in the cards. 25 basis points, what matters is not the number, but the signal it sends, right? Because what the Fed is, because it's 25 basis points going to move the 10-year? No, not really. The market's going to move the 10-year. It's more the signal of where the Fed thinks the economy is, right, and where it's going. That's why I like the idea of pausing the balance sheet runoff as a signal. These are signals, not actual, they're not going to be reflected in people's mortgage rates or credit card rates.
Before we let you go, how much are people talking about who's going to come in to replace Fed Chair Jay Powell?
Well, all the time. You guys are talking about all the time.
I mean, among the Fed members.
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, I haven't really, part of my deal when you leave the Fed is you have to sort of stay on the sidelines for a while. I mean, obviously people are concerned about that. It's a very important position for this country. And so, yeah, I'm cheering for the team that's making this selection, that they make the right choice.
Patrick Harker, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And I guess go Eagles. Patrick Harker, former Philadelphia Fed president. We are awaiting that speech from Chair Powell, who is going to be speaking here in Jackson Hole in less than 3 minutes time. Mike, we have been hearing from a number of people the fear of a 70s type of stagflation light, not exactly 70s, but that seems to be the emphasis so far in the Fed speak we've heard so far.
Well, it's the data that we're seeing. We're seeing a slowdown in the labor market. We're seeing an increase in inflation, but I think the emphasis at this point would be on the light part of it, because it's nothing like what happened in the 1970s. And this is also very early in the process. We recognize what's going on because of what we went through the last time. So the Fed can react. And in the current framework, and I assume this will stay in the future framework, the Fed will do whatever it needs to do to keep price stability. That's going to be their main focus. And if that's the case, then hopefully they are ahead of any stagflation.
Totally unfair question to you, but I'm going to go with it. With a new framework, whatever it may be, does the Fed become ever more ex post, after the fact, waiting for data?
It's going to depend on how you define it, because what the Fed is going to do is take out the idea that we're going to make policy based on what we think is going to happen. And they're going to say, we're going to look at all the data that comes in. So it could be ex post, or it could be just consensus.
Do the dots stay?
Look, the dots are, it's all the communication tool. And how do you communicate? Maybe get on Twitter. I will say that we are waiting for Jerome Powell to come out and give his speech. We're less than a minute away. Unclear exactly how he prepped for it. How do you think he prepped?
He had breakfast at the Pioneer Grill.
You saw him?
I said good morning to the chairman this morning, and I did not see if it was, I didn't see if he went healthy or full English.
Oh, yeah. I can guarantee he didn't go full English ahead
chairman.
of this, but this is going to be a monumental moment for him. His last speech speech at Jackson Hole as Fed chair with the whole world watching. Does he address independence? Does he deal with the inflation side of the mandate more than potentially the labor market side of things? And frankly, the international feel here, really notable, as you mentioned.
To me, that's a major theme for me, is the international community is screaming.
Yeah, Micah has some headlines.
The headlines are out. The chairman has started speaking, and here is the key phrase. The shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting policy. That's going to get Wall Street's attention because it's opening the door to a rate cut. Here's the key sentence. With policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance. The Fed is also announcing its new framework, which is pretty much as we were just talking about with Pat Harker, dropping the reference to the effective lower bound, eliminating the inflation makeup strategy, committing to contain inflation expectations and concern about labor market shortfalls. But the key here is that there are downside risks to employment. The Fed chairman says the inflation outlook is that
what I was saying,
September 17th cut.
Was he
And I guess, Lisa, we're probably going to see the long end and the short end reacting here.
Well, let's pull that up right now. You do see an absolute catering in yields on the heels of this opening up to the potential for rate cuts coming out. The downside risks to employment are rising, which you can see also rising. The S&P 500 now up 1.3%. Yields down 8 basis points on the long end for the 10-year, even more for the 2-year.
And looking at the inflation-adjusted yield, the 10-year real yield comes in 6 basis points. That is substantial. It's still within the range, but at 1.86%, it's a real reversal towards a presumption of Fed accommodation.
Yeah, and this comes at a time where there is this question of how they are going to message this, given that inflation has remained above that 2% target since 2021. Mike, do we hear anything about why this is a Fed willing to look through that kind of inflation?
They do anticipate that tariffs are going to add to inflation, and they think it will take place over time, but they're still looking, at least as Chairman Powell puts it, they're still looking at these as one-time price adjustments within each sector. So it's likely that inflation is going to go up, but then they think it stabilizes and might go down again.
Well, right now, let's take a listen to Jay Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve.
In my remarks today, I will first address the current economic situation and the near-term outlook for monetary policy. I will then turn to the results of our second public review of our monetary policy framework as captured in the statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy that we released today. When I appeared at this podium 1 year ago, the economy was at an inflection point. Our policy rate had stood at 5.25% to 5.5% for more than a year. That restrictive policy stance was appropriate to help bring down inflation and to foster a sustainable balance between aggregate demand and supply. Inflation had moved much closer to our objective, and the labor market had cooled from its formerly overheated state. Upside risks to inflation had diminished, but the unemployment rate had increased by almost a full percentage point, a development that historically has not occurred outside of recessions. Over the subsequent 3 Federal Open Market Committee meetings, we recalibrated our policy stance, setting the stage for the labor market to remain in balance near maximum employment over the past year. This year, the economy has faced new challenges. Significantly higher tariffs across our trading partners are remaking the global trading system. Tighter immigration policy has led to an abrupt slowdown in labor force growth. Over the longer run, changes in tax, spending, and regulatory policies may also have important implications for economic growth and productivity. There is significant uncertainty about where all of these policies will eventually settle and what their lasting effects on the economy will be.
Dude, this is alt season, chat.
Changes in trade and immigration policies are affecting both demand and supply. In this environment, distinguishing cyclical developments from trend or structural developments is difficult. This distinction is critical because monetary policy can work to stabilize cyclical fluctuations, but can do little to alter structural changes. The labor market is a case in point. The July employment report released earlier this month showed that payroll job growth slowed to an average pace of only 35,000 per month over the past 3 months, down from 168,000 per month during 2024. This slowdown is much larger than assessed just a month ago, as the earlier figures for May and June were revised down substantially. But it does not appear that the slowdown in job growth has opened up a large margin of slack in the labor market, an outcome we want to avoid.
Holy
the
shit, they're
unemployment rate,
cutting.
while edging up in July, stands at a historically low level of 4.2%.
Holy shit, they're cutting, dude.
And has been broadly stable over the past year. Other indicators of labor market
Holy
conditions are
shit,
also
dude.
little changed or have softened only modestly, including quits, layoffs, the ratio of vacancies to unemployment, and nominal wage growth.
W's in the chat. W's in the chat. W's in
Labor
the chat,
supply
dude.
has
W's in the
softened
fucking
in line
chat
with
right now.
demand, sharply lowering the break-even rate of job creation needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. Indeed, labor force growth has slowed considerably this year with the sharp fall off in immigration, and the labor force participation rate has edged down in recent months.
Aerodrome's up 11%.
Overall, while the labor market appears to be in balance, it is a curious kind of balance that results from a marked slowing in both the supply of and demand for workers. This unusual situation suggests that downside risks to employment are rising. And if those risks materialize, they can do so quickly in the form of sharply higher layoffs and rising unemployment. At the same time, GDP growth has slowed notably in the first half of this year to a pace of 1.2%, roughly half the 2.5% pace in 2024. The decline in growth has largely reflected a slowdown in consumer spending. As with the labor market, some of the slowing in GDP likely reflects slower growth of supply or potential output. Turning to inflation, higher tariffs have begun to push up prices in some categories of goods. Estimates based on the latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.6% over the 12 months ending in July. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9%, above their level of a year ago. Within core, prices of goods increased 1.1% over the past 12 months, a notable shift from the modest decline seen over the course of 2024. In contrast, housing services inflation remains on a downward trend, and non-housing services inflation is still running at a level a bit above what has been historically consistent.
Fucking shit, we're going to recover the entire crash in 30 minutes.
The effects of tariffs on consumer prices are now clearly visible. We expect those effects to accumulate over coming months with high uncertainty about both timing and amounts. The question that matters for monetary policy is whether these price increases are likely to materially raise the risk of an ongoing inflation problem. A reasonable base case is that the effects will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Of course, one time does not mean all at once. It will continue to take time for tariff increases to work their way through supply chains and distribution networks. Moreover, tariff rates continue to evolve, potentially prolonging the adjustment process. It's also possible, however, that the upward pressure on prices from tariffs could spur a more lasting inflation dynamic, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed.
Holy shit.
One possibility is that workers who see their real incomes decline because of higher prices demand and get higher wages from employers, setting off adverse wage price dynamics. Given that the labor market is not particularly tight and faces increasing downside risks, that outcome does not seem likely. Another possibility is that inflation expectations could move up, dragging actual inflation with them. Inflation has been above our target for more than 4 years and remains a prominent concern for households and businesses. Measures of longer-term inflation expectations, however, as reflected in market and survey-based measures, appear to remain well anchored and consistent with our longer-run inflation objective of 2%. Of course, we cannot take the stability of inflation expectations for granted. Come what may, we will not allow a one-time increase in the price level to become an ongoing inflation problem. So, putting the pieces together, what are the implications for monetary policy? In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. Our policy rate is now 100 basis points closer to neutral than it was a year ago, and the stability of the unemployment rate and other labor market measures allows us to proceed carefully as we consider changes to our policy stance. Nonetheless, with policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance. Monetary policy is not on a preset course. FOMC members will make these decisions based solely on their assessment of the data and its implications for the economic outlook and the balance of risks. We will never deviate from that approach.
Let's fucking go, chat.
So, turning then to my second topic. Our monetary policy framework is built on the unchanging foundation of our mandate from Congress to foster maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. We remain fully committed to fulfilling our statutory mandate, and the revisions to our framework will support that mission across a broad range of economic conditions. Our revised statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy, which we refer to as our consensus statement to save time, describes how we pursue our dual mandate goals. It is designed to give the public a clear sense of how we think about monetary policy, and that understanding is important both for transparency and accountability, and for making monetary policy more effective. The changes we made in this review are a natural progression grounded in our ever-evolving understanding of our economy. We continue to build upon the initial consensus statement adopted in 2012 under Chairman Ben Bernanke's leadership. Today's revised statement is the outcome of the second public review of our framework, which we conduct at 5-year intervals. This year's review included 3 elements: Fed Listens events at reserve banks around the country, a flagship research conference, and policymaker discussions and deliberations supported by staff analysis at a series of FOMC meetings.
Oh my God.
In approaching this year's review, a key objective has been to make sure that our framework is suitable across a broad range of economic conditions. At the same time, the framework needs to evolve with changes in the structure of the economy and our understanding of those changes. The Great Depression presented different challenges from those of the Great Inflation and the Great Moderation, which in turn are different from the ones we face today. At the time of the last review, we were living in a new normal, characterized by the proximity of interest rates to the effective lower bound, or ELB, along with low growth, low inflation, and a very flat Phillips curve, meaning that inflation was not very responsive to slack in the economy. To me, a statistic that captures that era is that our policy rate was stuck at the ELB for 7 long years following the onset of the global financial crisis in late 2008. Many here will recall the sluggish growth and painfully slow recovery of that era. It appeared highly likely that if the economy experienced even a mild downturn, our policy rate would be back at the ELB very quickly, probably for another extended period. Inflation and inflation expectations could then decline in a weak economy, raising real interest rates as nominal rates were pinned near zero. Higher real rates would further weigh on job growth and reinforce the downward pressure on inflation and inflation expectations, triggering an adverse dynamic.
We're going to all-time highs
the
in 45 fucking minutes.
The policy rate to the ELB and drove the 2020 framework changes were thought to be rooted in slow-moving global factors that would persist for an extended period. And they might well have done so, if not for the pandemic.
It won't stop.
The 2020 consensus statement included several features that addressed the ELB-related risks that had become increasingly prominent over the preceding 2 decades. We emphasized the importance of anchored inflation, longer-term inflation expectations to support both our price stability and maximum employment goals. Drawing on an extensive literature on strategies to mitigate risks associated with the ELB, we adopted flexible average inflation targeting, a makeup strategy to ensure that inflation expectations would remain well anchored, even with the ELB constraint. In particular, we said that following periods when inflation had been running consistently above 2%, appropriate monetary policy would likely aim to achieve inflation.
Just make us lose money.
Above 2%.
You actually make us lose money.
In the event, rather than low inflation in the ELB, the post-pandemic reopening brought the highest inflation in 40 years to economies around the world. Like most other central banks and private sector analysts, through year-end 2021, we thought that inflation would subside fairly quickly without a sharp tightening in our policy stance, as this slide will show. When it became clear this was not the case, we responded forcefully, 4 percentage points over 16 months. That action, combined with the unwinding of pandemic supply disruptions, contributed to inflation moving much closer to our target without the painful rise in unemployment that has accompanied previous efforts to counter
I'm not going to breathe, dude. I'm
high
actually
inflation.
tired of bears. I'm
This year's
actually
review
tired of
considered
bears.
how economic conditions have evolved over the past 5 years. During this period, we saw that the inflation situation can change rapidly in the face of large shocks. In addition, interest rates are
They're
now
just
substantially
fucking
higher
losers,
than
dude.
was the case during the era between the global financial crisis and the pandemic. With inflation above target, our policy rate is restrictive, modestly so in my view. We cannot say for certain where rates will settle out over the longer run, but their neutral rate may now be higher than during the 2010s, reflecting changes in productivity, demographics, fiscal policy, and other factors that affect the balance between saving and investment. During the review, we discussed how the 2020 statement's focus on the ELB may have complicated communications about our response to high inflation. We concluded that the emphasis on an overly specific set of economic conditions may have led to some confusion, and as a result, we made several important changes to the consensus statement to reflect that insight. First, we removed language indicating that the ELB was a defining feature of the economic landscape. Instead, we noted that our monetary policy strategy is designed to promote maximum employment and stable prices across a broad range of economic conditions. The difficulty of operating near the ELB remains a potential concern, but it is not our primary focus. The revised statement reiterates that the committee is prepared to use its full range of tools to achieve its maximum employment and price stability goals, particularly if the federal funds rate is constrained by the ELB. Second, we returned to a framework of flexible inflation targeting and eliminated the makeup strategy. As it turned out, the idea of an intentional moderate inflation overshoot had proved irrelevant. There was nothing intentional or moderate about the inflation that arrived a few months after we announced our 2020 changes to the consensus statement, as I acknowledged publicly in 2021. Well-anchored inflation expectations were critical to our success in bringing down inflation without a sharp increase in unemployment. Anchored expectations promote the return of inflation to target when adverse shocks drive inflation higher and limit the risk of deflation when the economy weakens. Further, they allow monetary policy to support maximum employment in economic downturns without compromising price stability. Our revised statement emphasizes our commitment to act forcefully to ensure that longer-term inflation expectations remain well anchored to the benefit of both sides of our dual mandate. It also notes that price stability is essential for a sound and stable economy and supports the well-being of all Americans. This theme came through loud and clear at our Fed Listens events. The past 5 years have been a painful reminder of the hardship that high inflation imposes, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of necessities. Third, our 2020 statement said that we would mitigate shortfalls rather than deviations from maximum employment. The use of shortfalls reflected the insight that our real-time assessments of the natural rate of unemployment, and hence of maximum employment, are highly uncertain. The later years of the post-global financial crisis recovery featured employment running for an extended period above mainstream estimates of its sustainable level, along with inflation running persistently below our 2% target. In the absence of inflationary pressures, it might not be necessary to tighten policy based solely on uncertain real-time estimates of the natural rate of unemployment. We still have that view, but our use of the term shortfalls was not always interpreted as intended, raising communications challenges. In particular, the use of shortfalls was not intended as a commitment to permanently forswear preemption or to ignore labor market tightness. Accordingly, we removed shortfalls from our statement. Instead, the revised document now states more precisely that the committee recognizes that employment may run at times above real-time assessments of maximum employment without necessarily creating risks to price stability. Of course, preemptive action would likely be warranted if tightness in the labor market or other factors pose risks to price stability. The revised statement also notes that maximum employment is the highest level of employment that can be achieved on a sustained basis in a context of price stability. This focus on promoting a strong labor market underscores the principle that durably achieving maximum employment fosters broad-based economic opportunities and benefits for all Americans. The feedback we received at Fed Listens events reinforced the value of a strong labor market for American households, employers, and communities. Fourth, consistent with the removal of shortfalls, we made changes to clarify our approach in periods where our employment and inflation objectives are not complementary. In those circumstances, we will follow a balanced approach in promoting them. The revised statement now more closely aligns with the original 2012 language. We take into account the extent of departures from our goals and the potentially different time horizons over which each is projected to return to a level consistent with our dual mandate. These principles guide our policy decisions today, as they did in the 2022 to 24 period, when the departure from our 2% inflation target was the overriding concern. In addition to these changes, there is a great deal of continuity with past statements. The document continues to explain how we interpret the mandate Congress has given us and describes the policy framework that we believe will best promote maximum employment and price stability. We continue to believe that monetary policy must be forward-looking and consider the lags in its effects on the economy. For this reason, our policy actions depend on the economic outlook and the balance of risks to that outlook. We continue to believe that setting a numerical goal for employment is unwise because the maximum level of employment is not directly measurable and changes over time for reasons unrelated to monetary policy. We also continue to view a longer run inflation rate of 2% as most consistent with our dual mandate goals. We believe that our commitment to this target is a key factor, helping keep longer term inflation expectations well anchored. Experience has shown that 2% inflation is low enough to ensure that inflation is not a concern in household and business decision making, while also providing a central bank with some policy flexibility to provide accommodation during economic downturns. Finally, the revised consensus statement retained our commitment to conduct a public review roughly every 5 years.
Look at the SPX.
There's nothing magic about the 5-year pace. That frequency allows policymakers to read academics on the performance of our framework. It is also consistent with several global peers. To wrap up, I want to thank President Schmid and all of his great Kansas City staff who work so diligently to host this outstanding event annually, counting a couple of virtual appearances during the pandemic. This is the 8th time I've had the honor to speak from this podium.
Guys, I'm in Bali, chill.
Each year, this symposium offers the opportunity for
Bag nuts.
Fed leaders to hear ideas from leading economic thinkers and focus on the challenges we face. The Kansas City Fed was very wise to lure Chair Volcker here to this national park more than 40 years ago, and I am so proud to be part of that tradition. Thank you very much.
That was Fed Chair Jerome Powell wrapping up his annual Jackson Hole remarks. What a
That was the
Jackson
sound of
Hole
bullets
speech
pounding
that
the
was.
back
This
end
is
of
Bloomberg
theirs.
Surveillance on television and radio, live from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. What we heard there is they are prepared to move
Guys,
rates
they're not gonna announce
lower
cuts
on
today.
the
Why would they
heels
announce
of their
cuts
dual
today? It wasn't
mandate
the
being
FOMC
in
meeting.
conflict. We see a market reaction. We could see 10-year yields are lower by 10 basis points. Two-year yields are down by 10 basis points. So 10-year yields are down by 7 basis points. What you see is a weaker dollar, stronger euro by some 0.7%, which you can see the dollar just weakening across the board, and you can see that increase on the equity space. We have been getting some other news. President Trump has been tweeting saying that if Lisa Cook, Fed governor, doesn't resign, he will fire her. There also was some drama in the main hall of the Jackson Lake Lodge. Bloomberg's Michael McKee is with us. Mike, can you give us a picture of what's been going on as Jay Powell was speaking?
Well, it was, I guess, shortly before he spoke, Lisa Cook walked into the Jackson Lake Lodge. She was not here last night. I guess she's just arrived. And James Fishback, who runs Azora Capital, he sued the Fed in court trying to get the Fed to open its meetings to the public, and the court threw that out. But he was standing there and started shouting at her, "Why did you commit mortgage fraud?" He was apparently, according to the Bloomberg reporters who were there, escorted out by sheriff's deputies.
Yeah.
I think we have to be clear here that these are allegations at the
Absolutely.
best, that there are no charges, no processes in place at this time, right?
No processes in place at this time. And what we've seen from Bill Pulte from the Federal Housing Finance Administration and from the president are they're trying to say factually that she committed fraud, and there is no evidence of that yet.
We will discuss that at a later point. Right now, we're just still digesting the text of a 40 to 45-minute speech by Jerome Powell. It really compares to the 8-minute speech back in 2022. There will be pain. This is a complicated moment. The market sees it as maybe a little less complicated. And to really digest what we just heard, City Wealth Chief Investment Officer Kate Moore, who's on set with us in her beloved Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And Kate, what's your impression? I mean, how much did what we just hear from Fed Chair Jay Powell change your view of what their reaction function is going to be?
So it hasn't really changed my view. What I will say is in the last couple of weeks and talking to other people on the buy side and really getting a sense for investors, people were moving a little bit more towards the 50-50 in September, even if that's not what was getting priced into the market. There was the sense that this tension between the labor market and inflation was going to make the decision really difficult. And I think what we're hearing this morning is that, the Fed is on path to start easing rates again or proceed with the cycle. But I don't think that the rest of the meetings to the end of this year and through 2026 are done deals yet. So much is going to be data dependent. So I see the market price moves, and now with near certainty for September and on through the balance of the year. And I think we just have to watch the data.
Right. In watching the data in the Heritage Citigroup economics is Willem Bouter, Catherine Mann out the Bank of England and all. There's a complete international and holistic view. Is this ginormous, that's a fancy word, CFA word, folks, this ginormous investment that we're seeing in AI, is the certitudes of this summer, are they at risk given the tumult?
Well, tell me, point out something. The market's been really crowded. Most investor segments have been crowded around these secular themes. And for good reason, right? These companies are putting up great numbers. Every company across every industry is investing in AI and technology. So if you had uncertainty around policy or economic growth or geopolitical tensions or international relations or, fractures in the U.S. consumer, everyone was crowded in this space. That said, they're
going to start back testing, guys, here on just... They're all so bearish before. They're all so hawkish, and now they're like backtracking like real quick. They're like, dude, 10% chat on Ethereum. We went from literally $4,200 to $4,600 in 45 freaking minutes. Bitcoin back up to 140, almost 115,000, almost touched. It's actually at 115,000 right now. Almost touched 116K. You saw the majority of that pullback. This is alt season. It's like this is beyond clearly alt season here. Risk on assets performing very, very well. Obviously, guys, don't be FOMOing into this massive, massive liquidation trend to the upside. Trump is still speaking at 12 p.m., so it's going to be interesting to see what Donald Trump says right after the morning show. Maybe they'll roll into that since it's going to be a little bit delayed. But ultimately, now is just really the time, like I was mentioning in this call, the time to DCA, you want to find those entry points. Now, I'm not FOMOing in the top of this market trend, right? We were taking the emotional gauge this morning here, but it just goes to show. It's why I think everybody in Discover Crypto right now, if you're still following a bear out there, just unfollow them, block them. They shouldn't even have a platform. They're not only wrong, they are ruining the lives of millions and millions of investors. They've been wrong since 15K, since 3K, since 60K, since 100K. And then again this morning, we covered, you saw the title this morning. You go on Twitter, everyone's calling 90K, 100K, 105, 108, etc. Everybody's trying to call this next range to the downside. And then you get the complete opposite outcome of what everybody, I was even on the baseline. But this was the most bullish possible case you can get when it came to the crypto market. So I'm going to welcome up, of course, TJ and DZ here. It is almost 10:30.
That is right.
Guys,
That is right.
Good to have you here today, DZ. What's
Hey,
up?
man, how's it going? I love
the
the Medellin Cartel t-shirt. I'm sure you're getting a lot of comments like that, referencing that. It's a nice juxtaposition that we have going on here, but great coverage of the Jerome Powell speech, by the way.
This is what happens when you don't wear a t-shirt. I have a tank top under my tank top, DZ. I do not have your Spanish, the Spanish Mexican genes of the equator on me. I just totally burn in and man, I have Wonder White bread. I have to have bug spray. I have to have I don't know what's the whitest.
You need to gel your hair into a hair umbrella, like a sun blocker. You know, just jaggedly straight. But
just grow it out until it covers my body.
All right. Well, Josh, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. You can stick around. I say go get some rest, man. You've been doing this for hours. The marathon streamer here, Joshua Jacobs. Everybody hit the like button for
Thanks for
Josh.
being here, guys. Have fun. Enjoy the morning show.
All right, let's get right into the markets here. Let's get right into what we're seeing here. Major moves. Now, I know Josh was looking at the chart, so we got to look at a couple as well. This is just some trend lines that we drew out yesterday.
Need your screen.
Oh, look at me. I don't even know what I'm doing over here. Going to present the screen real quick in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, add. And now we're live looking at the charts. This is the trend line on Bitcoin that we drew yesterday. These are 1 hour charts, or I'm sorry, 1 hour candles here. And you can see perfect bounce of support, lost that. And now we've just rendered this trend line totally inert, totally ineffective here. Also, looking at the Solana chart, we have a huge breakout happening. We're going to look at this, a potential bull flag on the 4 hour candles. Also, you can see it on the daily candles here. We're going to give you the Solana target, and just kind of looking at the markets here. Got to hit refresh because things are going absolutely bananas. We're just actually going to click on the 1 hour. SPX 6,900 up 17% in 1 hour. Arrow up almost 10% in 1 hour. Say is up, Athena is up, Arbitrum is up. Literally all coins that we have been talking about.
Yeah.
Dogecoin, Algorand, and whoa,
Cardano.
7.7% pump on Cardano.
Well,
I might just have to start celebrating the weekend early, TJ.
Yeah, and then you got Chainlink and Ethereum right underneath that. So it's really, I've been saying, it feels like DeFi season. Almost all of our DeFi picks, every time things are pumping and I pull it up, I'm like, man, Arrow, which is one of my fattest bags, is one of the, it's getting up there now because it keeps pumping, but every time I pull it up, it's Arrow's one of the top pumpers, and then Chainlink is right behind another one of my heaviest ones. If you guys were in the Discord, you saw I moved a lot. I moved a couple Bitcoin into Chainlink and Arrow a few weeks ago, and I'm very grateful I did that. So it was really good timing, and if you guys followed along, you're probably in a good mood too. But seeing Athena is another one we've talked about a lot on this channel. And right before we went live, Drew and I were watching all of these things pump. And my kind of takeaway when I look at it of like, what's the fastest reaction? I'm looking at CoinMarketCap, so I've got Fartcoin on there with SPX and then Say and Arbitrum and some of the other ones. But it's gonna get silly here. I mean, basically what Jerome Powell just came out and said was we're likely moving towards cuts. That says risk on to the market. The market immediately responded. We did post on X, if you guys don't follow us there, the futures, the overnight markets kind of front ran this a little bit. We were seeing some of those numbers move up like, oh, maybe they know something. And clearly they did. But what it told me when I looked at that was what we're going to see is going to be a combination of the most logical projects to invest in will do well and the least logical. And I think if you're in the middle, it's going to be tough. Like, yeah, what I'm saying is Aerodrome, Athena, Chainlink, all very clear revenue models, very strong moat, really good regulation around them to perform pretty well. And I think they're going to continue to perform well as we go into DeFi season. And then you've got like Fartcoin and SPX. You're going to have like meme coins with absolutely no value and then very valuable projects. And that's what we're going to be seeing popping off, I think, in the rest, the latter half of this year or last couple months of the year to really set things off.
100%. And I actually have a live look at the Bears, TJ. This is the Bears, trying to hold that resistance there and just unable, just getting just totally wiped out there. If you're a bear, that is you.
That's
and
brutal.
This is actually perfectly illustrates your point, TJ, about the strong revenue projects Or you're going to see things like this when you just dump the rest of your cash into the market and you see Drewski on Bloomberg.
I saw that.
It's the perfect epitome of what you're saying there. There's
Exactly.
going to be a lot of seriousness, and then there's going to be the societal memes, the meme coins, potentially some NFT projects, things that have fart in the title. They're going to do very well, and you're going to see people like Drewski on Bloomberg of all places there. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? You're going to meme coin founders on there, the whole nine there. Chainlink is the buy. I would say this is one of the top 5 coins. I would say if you have zero exposure into the crypto ecosystem, we're going to lead with Bitcoin, obviously, but Chainlink, potentially one of the first 3 choices I would throw out there.
That's the one I tell everybody, like, look, just if you're just getting started, and I've had a few of those people coming out recently, I say, just buy Bitcoin and forget about it. Like, that's, if you want just long-term, you'll be set for life. You don't have to worry about all the drama that's going on if you just buy Bitcoin now. And then they always want something else, and I'm hesitant to give them something else sometimes. But if I do, a lot of times it's like, well, I just brought a ton of Chainlink, so I believe it has a long-term future. I usually will give them Chainlink or maybe Arrow, depending on who the person is. But.
And you know, their knowledge in the space and their ability to maybe get some of these different tokens here. Now, this is a good assessment of Powell's speech. We're coming in very, very low expectations. That's why we did get some positive news, and the markets are going giga bullish. This kind of sums that up. Everybody had such bad expectations for this speech. At this point, he could literally pull out a gun, shoot a journalist, and the market would just be like, yeah, that was priced in.
Priced
whatever.
in. Yep.
It's priced in, folks. It's priced in. But obviously, you know, a lot of the pumps coming from Powell's members speaking, and Hammock, the Fed member here, saying she does not see a case for the rate cut after the recent data. So a lot of movements, downward movement. So when Jackson Hole later on, when that symposium said a little bit of bullish comments, the markets had priced in this very bearish comment, and then the bullish comment just took off like a rocket ship. Now, I know Josh went over a lot of this, kind of the market reaction over the last 5 years, but if you're just now tuning in, the markets reacted positively in 2021, hawkish stance in 2022, 23, little modest gain here, but still cautious. 24, mixed response. But I actually looked a little bit deeper than that, and I might have to do an upload on this one, TJ. There are market lows that then happen after the fact there. So we do see some short-term dips. I might get into the short-term dips, but I want to talk about the low dates and potentially how long it takes every time, because you're going to see something within about 3 weeks or so, maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less. You end up seeing a market low. So this might be, and this is a French, I found this doing my digging, doing my research in here, and I haven't even translated. I'm actually scared to translate this in case they say something crazy here. It's going to be about like protest. It's going to be about Macron's wife, and I don't want that. But looking at this, I might have to do some, might have to put on that accountant hat, TJ. Maybe look at the average drawdown, the average date, and maybe we could see potential market bottom. If that is a thing that happens every time. So I don't know, keep a tune out for that this weekend here, but obviously all eyes on Jerome Powell because of this talk there, because of what they're going on here. If you don't know what goes on here, we are seeing a little bit of front running. That's what TJ was saying. And now we see the inflows yesterday. This is also another front running that kind of TJ was mentioning there. You call it hedging, call it profit taking, but the money flowed out, but then it reversed. And so it looks like people are just trying to be safe rather than sorry. And we are going to see, you know, on average, the markets were saying a plus or minus 2%. Plus or minus 2%. TJ, I think we're passing that here. Let's look. Definitely. Is it within that realm of plus or minus 2%? A little bit above, So the market's a little bit more volatile than people were expecting here, because so far it has moved over 3% here.
And they were talking about for the crypto market? Or were they talking about
Bitcoin options? Bitcoin options, it was a little bit price agnostic. So they're, you know, not saying, hey, up or down, but just looking at the data was skewing towards it is going to be a 2% move in either direction. SNEC probably moving a lot more than 2%. Big shout out to the Cardano meme token. We're going to talk about Cardano later. Maybe I'll mention some more SNEC stuff. The stakes are simple. If we hint at the rate cut, crypto included, probably going to breathe easier and bounce. That did happen. The cautious outlook was going to be a dip down to 108. But still, a lot of people are going to be very bullish, start having some of those 124 to 130,000 targets now that we're moving to the upside here. And so we did have a little bit of a cooling ETF demand. We had a little bit of that profit taking, and we had some positioning ahead of the minutes and the Jackson Hole remarks. And that's why traders reduce risk. But now looks like risk is back on the menu. Meat's back on the menu, boys, said the orc. Now, using position sizing, this is just good advice. That's why I want to share this. Good advice for people trying to trade these moves. We do have a link down for L Bank. Big shout out to the exchange, sponsor helping us out here. It's what I personally trade on. But this is just good advice in general. Folks, if you are going to bet on these Jerome Powell speeches, Fed minutes, earnings reports, use position sizing, set clear stop loss levels, monitor the derivative skew, meaning are people bullish or bearish, and monitor the ETF flows and avoid excessive leverage here. And then you should, just look out for clarifying positions. So just a little bit of some advice there. But as to my point earlier, typically we do see a drawdown, and some of these lead to immediate pumps. You kind of see it right there, immediate pump into a dump, mini pump into a dump. And this one was then a dump, then a pump, followed by, bear market bottoms there. So I might have to do a little bit of digging here, TJ. I want to see where Bitcoin's going to head when the dust settles. It's one thing to trade in this flurry of, it's like a Tasmanian devil cyclone. But once the dust settles, that's really where the millionaires are going to be made. What are your thoughts here? The market's obviously bullish. Do you think that means we get that sharp pullback?
No, I mean, I think it was pricing in bearishness today and pricing in no rate cut. And so that's why we saw the bearish action leading into it. Markets hate unknowns, and they are designed to mitigate risk, kind of like what DZ was just telling about in that last article. So what they're going to do is they're going to take their chips off the table leading into one of these unknown events, and then react accordingly. And that's exactly what we saw. So he came out and essentially said it might be time for a rate cut due to unusual job environment or something along those lines. Overall, dovish, meaning leaning towards cutting in September. Odds shot right back up to potentially happening, like 80-90% on Polymarket and FedWatch Tool and those kind of places. So I think it's right back to where we were, business as usual. Part of me says, like a lot of this stuff is noise. They have to cut. If you're looking at, I don't know if I have it pulled up here. Oh yeah, I do. Give me 1 second to put this on the screen. I've been watching these reverse repo markets here, and okay, we got all our scenes messed up, but it's at a big time low, the lowest it's been in years. So their money is getting tight and they have to inject it. There really isn't a world where, like, a lot of what they say is games. There really isn't a world where they don't print more money, which is why kind of Bitcoin exists. That's the whole thesis. When that happens, all kinds of high risk things pump like crazy. And we're getting into that environment. The big, beautiful bill was the signal. They said we are printing. Now rate cuts is an inevitability. It's not, it's more just signaling for big money. So I think we still see an insane bull run over these next couple of months. I do think the most fun part is getting ready to start. All of you guys that have been hanging on, just wait. You've heard me say alt season is about a six to 8 week period. That could be October, November, could be November, December, could be September, November, or September and October. So I think we're going to see alts do crazy numbers here in the next couple of months. And then I predict we're going to see a retail sell-off. We're going to see a pullback or a correction in either early 26, and then people will be saying, oh, it's bear market, sell it all, get out. I think most of retail will get out, and then potentially we see a very bullish second half of 2026 and people get left behind. That's my prediction, especially with revenue generating things like Arrow and Chainlink and some of those. But I think the most fun part is about to happen. Let's get through that. Let's all make a bunch of money. Then you can make decisions on what you do and don't take off the table in November.
All right, a couple people asking, what was he signaling here? This is the quote. Shout out to Steve-O. I do like this post here. Powell, rate cut may be justified. So this is the phrase that is getting everybody hot and bothered in a good way. So gentlemen, start your rocket ships. Also, someone was saying 93% chance of a cut on the FedWatch tool. Stop using the CME FedWatch tool. I've been saying this for months. Dreamula, come on, man. You're the first with the link marine emoji. You should know better than that. Stop using the CME watch tool. We will go to Polymarket, but there's other more accurate indicators, and that is the least accurate indicator out there. I broke it down yesterday, man. I think you're almost trolling me at this point, but this isn't the only major news that we're going to have today. So we have Powell in Wyoming. But Donald Trump is about to shake the markets in about an hour. Trump is going to make a major announcement from the Oval Office today, 12 p.m. Eastern time. No details yet, but the markets are on edge. Going to be interesting to see what Donald Trump is going to be speaking about as well. Now, back to the rate cuts here. By the way, Polymarket is showing 52. It's actually been changing so much. I actually got to go here. Whoa, look at that. Major moves here just recently. We're going to go to the 6 hour. You can see the odds of no change has been changing dramatically. At one point, we got as high, I think we could do it on the 1 day. We got as high as 40% odds of a no change, meaning pretty close to a 50-50. We're going to get a rate cut, not 93% by any means. Then those odds plummeted after Jerome Powell's remarks. And you can see, zooming into the 6 hour. Now, no change.
Just ticked up
down below 20%.
Yeah, just ticked up while you were talking about that. The 25 basis points went from 81 to 82. That was kind of cool. I didn't know it updated like that in real time.
Oh, yeah. And major shifts. I mean, at one point we had no change was about 2 out of 3 odds. Now we're coming in about 1 out of 7. So major shift there on whether or not we're going to see some rate cuts there. And the reason this is so important, because this is the time where you can change your life. This is that fourth quarter. All right. Who's the best fourth quarter player in the NFL all time?
Tom Brady, unfortunately.
Tom Brady. It probably is Tom Brady.
It hurts me as an Atlanta Falcon fan, but I mean, some of the best fourth quarter comebacks of all time.
I was going to go way back and say Warren Moon.
Okay.
The Oilers. No, he actually wasn't that good in the fourth quarter. Troy Aikman. There we go. Being mad at Bitcoin's performance, this bull market is like being disappointed in the New Year's Eve fireworks show 6 hours before the show starts. All of the fun, we've been doing some shorts on this. All of the fun is in the last 30, 60 days. All of the major profit takings in the last 30, 60 days. This is a log chart, so it's actually a little bit hard to tell. But when you see these big vertical shifts on a log chart, it is significant price movements. And you can see all the fun happen in the last end, all the fun happen in the last end. This cycle, all the fun happen in the last end. And if you look at, from October to November, there was a lot of fun in that October to November spike there. So this is the time you got to be paying attention to, because if you walk away for a couple months, come back, it's going to be a much different scene. Look how much crypto and the financial markets have changed in the last 24 hours when you look at Polymarket. So this is the time to be locked in. This is the time to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you're smashing that like button.
I see this comment here about BitUnix being down. Are there any other future exchanges down? I'm not sure. That is a newer one. I'm familiar with them. They've been hammering us for a partnership.
Oftentimes high volume.
Yeah, it can crash.
I would say it's more likely that.
But what I was going to say is the ones we use, DZ mentioned it earlier in the show, LBank, that's been around a long time. They've got good volume and liquidity. Blowfin as well. It's very reliable in times like these. So if you guys are looking to trade, get in our Discord trading group. You'll get a lot of free help and information in there. Use the links in our description if you don't mind signing up for an affiliate. It really helps us. But I did want to mention that. So.
How do we feel about DeFi? Bullish on DeFi. Looks like we're gonna have a bigger bull run, kind of related to AI, related to CZ's longevity research, Vitalik's longevity research, all the things Brian Johnson is doing with longevity research, David Sinclair out of Harvard,
Brian Armstrong.
Yeah. We just haven't really seen it come to fruition with specific projects. But RSC is one of two that I have exposure to. The other is Vita DAO.
Yeah. My take on that is very similar, bullish long term. I don't think going to be the focus, not going to be the meta of this cycle. I think there's money to be made, but it reminds me a lot of where DeFi was in 2020. So 5 years from now, next cycle, whatever it is, I think it's going to be getting a lot of attention. But for me, DeFi is where it's at right now. And then
Black hole, finally in the green.
I'm glad
finally in the green.
Yep.
DJ, I was not aware that they had yield that they were paying out in the black token hand over fist. So when we were looking at the revenue is great. Avalanche, it's crushing the Avalanche ecosystem. But what's also getting crushed is the price action, because they offer yield in this token, and then that's just selling pressure. I've been famously bearish on tokens that are given out as yield, and so that was on me for not doing enough research.
It works a little bit different than that. What I think really happened is the Avalanche Foundation was behind it and supporting it. I've been waiting for it to kind of bottom out. We've been just running a full range pool on it. What's
your rewards, if you don't mind me asking?
Don't know off the top of my head. I know it was in the 400% to 600% type of thing. But
now, what did they pay in?
It depends on, I think we're in an AVAX black pool. You can pick, you can decide what you want your rewards. It depends on what pool. If you're using USDC, you get paid in USDC, that kind of stuff. So, and a lot of the team, for example, one thing that's different about this, a lot of the founders tokens and stuff got burned right at the very beginning. So you dump those. So I was just waiting for it to find a bottom. I think this is it. I'm still bullish on this project overall. If you're going to buy spot, this would be the time that I would be doing it. Not saying it can't go down more, and it's much more risky play. You're betting on the Avalanche ecosystem. You need Avalanche to do well if you're picking a project like this. Arrow was super easy for us to pick because we knew it was going to be supported by Coinbase. Avalanche has been doing a lot. I mean, the stuff with Toyota is actually a pretty big deal, in my opinion. And the way that they're designed, I think, is actually a pretty smart architecture. It's just a matter of, can it succeed? They're up against a lot. Ethereum's got a ton of momentum right now, and they've got a lot more, I think, from the, big money perspective, I guess is the way to say it. They've got a lot more people at the global level rulemaking that are, they're winning the governmental regulation game. I think Avalanche has a chance to play there, and if they can succeed in that, they've got a really good chance for something like Black Hole to perform well. But when you're in DeFi, it's all about volume, and Avalanche is really not comparable to Ethereum or even Base. So this is a much more speculative, much more high risk play. I do think it's going to work out. I do think having Alex Becker and Elio Trades behind it is very strong for their marketing. I own Avalanche main chain, and then I own Black Hole, and that's the main two things I have in that ecosystem. And it's probably going to stay that way. But if you don't believe Avalanche is going to see a lot of volume influx, then you don't mess with
this. If you can't diamond hand through the dips and continue to earn those rewards, so when it does go higher, you've kind of, in a weird way, lowered your average entry costs via that mechanism. Yeah, if you have paper hands, if you're paper-handed, you know what word, stay away, folks, for sure.
But I might buy some more today. So
actually, not a bad idea. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it here. And this is one of the reasons I'm thinking about it. Global M2. We haven't looked at it in a while, folks. And the pullback perfectly predicted here. This is ETH M2, not that M2 Bitcoin. This is ETH M2. You can see that this is definitely suggesting a lot more room to run. We have had a little bit of divergence with the M2 taking off a little bit harder than Ethereum is, at least on this scale. It does look like it might be logged. So we're going to be a little bit suspicious with the difference in vertical. But at the end of the day, you do see M2 going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And ETH historically has been following this fairly well.
Well, and we know, again, with the big, beautiful bill, that's going to continue. They're talking about the fact that nobody is mentioning that the Speaker of the House talked about 3 more spending bills after the big, beautiful bill, like that is what's going to send us just soaring into midterms and all these different things. We are in the print cycle, and when it starts to kick in, you're going to feel it. But if you can, just for me, will you pull up the Arrow chart? Both Kita and Arrow, I see chat talking about Arrow going crazy. Kita is another one in base that we mess with a lot.
Yeah, it is going nuts, isn't it? Yeah, let's actually go to Trading View here.
15% in an hour.
I'm a front run something. Tonight's video on XRP, Wyckoff is insanely bullish, but it's a very, very in-depth TA analysis there. So you're going to have to watch the video for that one. So if you do hold XRP, make sure you're watching that. Now we're going to go to the Coinbase pair here.
Yeah, Morpho.
There it goes.
Drew literally shot a Morpho video this morning before we went live. So literally Arrow, Morpho, Athena, the top 3 movers on the 24-hour now. And
yeah, it looks pretty good.
All 3 things we've called a lot on this channel. So
let's just measure, just to see here. We're looking at a casual 20% pump in 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. All-time highs for Arrow pretty soon. $10 before the end of the cycle. There you go.
All right. Yeah, and I wish I had a little more. I should have bought more Arrow on the dip, but it's just one of those ones. The average entry cost was so low already. I never really felt I had to shift up my strategy there. All right, let's talk about, you said the global printing cycle is here. 100%. You know who also sees that? Filipinos. Philippines government consider establishing a national Bitcoin reserve. This one actually, I think, has a pretty good chance of passing here. It's Miguel Luis Villafuerte. He's a congressman known for becoming the country's youngest elected governor. He filed a proposal that would require the central bank to accumulate Bitcoin as part of their sovereign reserves. Now, the plan, fairly, not insane here. This is fairly calm. purchase 2,000 Bitcoin annually with a maximum of 10,000 to be held in cold storage. This is why I think this might have a chance. He's on a committee. And this committee is the House Committee on Information and Communications Technology. And he's saying we must diversify beyond gold and US dollars to strengthen its financial security. If you dig into their sovereign wealth fund, they have US dollars on the balance sheet. And so maybe they're going to sell some of the US dollars and get some Bitcoin. I think that would be a very smart strategy of the Filipino government. And they would be the first Asian nation to legislate sovereign Bitcoin accumulation strategies. So this might actually happen.
Yeah.
And I would say Philippines, that could be a signal for the rest of these Asian countries to say, all right, maybe it is time to just diversify. Just diversify.
I think
I'm actually interested in their GDP rank.
The monetary policy shifts we're going to see on the macro global scale over this next decade is going to be historic. It's going to be what economic books are written about. If they haven't been started already, I mean, the Bitcoin will be at the center of it. But I mean, seeing the stablecoin wars that are going to be going on, that are going to be a lot more sophisticated version of the currency wars. You're going to have, what happens if China comes out with their all of their yuan stablecoin backed by gold, a finite supply, a fixed supply, and then you've got the US dollar with an infinite supply. And where, okay, well, then you've also got Tether gold is already a thing, so a lot of the gold-backed stablecoin projects, Paxos and some of those that have been around forever, still exist within crypto, and they're going to have their day. So it's really going to be fascinating to watch all this stuff play out. And if you guys think you've missed it, if you think you're late, I get this all the time. Oh, Bitcoin, I just feel like I've missed it, or I'm too late to this. It's like, no, this is going to be changing and shaping our generation, and you have an opportunity to get involved in that right now before it's mainstream. There's probably still, less than 10% of people that truly understand and invest and hold a lot of these projects, and definitely less than 10% of the money that exists. We're probably more at like 1 to 2%, if that. And as this transition happens over the next decade, there's more opportunity in this sector, meaning crypto, than any other opportunity any other sector than I can think of. And so if you think you're late, you're not. Dig in, invest, learn, spend 1,000 hours becoming an expert on this, and it will change your life. That's my.
Now, you said this generation, crypto will be ingrained into their lives.
Crypto will be, beyond ingrained. It will be
part of their life, their culture.
Will be unimaginable without it. Just like today, people can't imagine, young people can't imagine the world without internet. It will be like that for our, this next generation. They won't.
You know what was ingrained into my culture and my generation? 2 things.
TV?
One is going to be NWO t-shirts. You just saw them everywhere. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing an NWO t-shirt or an Austin 316 rattlesnake. But there's one other thing. South Park. South Park definitely ingrained into my generation here. And David Sachs and a Bitcoin.
Hanging out with Tally.
A physical Bitcoin made it onto the new South Park, everybody. Now, South Park rips into Trump's crypto ties in the latest episode. They had Trump taking gifts of Bitcoin from state officials and tech leaders there. Now, in 2 scenes, one of them had Microsoft CEO Sundar and David Sachs he's the White House crypto and AI czar. They were lining up to gift Bitcoin to Donald Trump, I guess with Tally right there. Now, they mainly satirize over-reliance on AI, with a character pivoting his cannabis farm into an AI startup after ICE raid arrests his workers. What the heck's going on in the show? He eventually gets advice from a sycophantic GPT, learn how to speak, DZ, to butter up Trump and have him reclassify cannabis to save his business. They then depict officials and tech executives, including Tim Cook, Jensen Huang, and Mark Zuckerberg, lining up to offer Donald Trump gifts. Now, White House spokesperson called, this is almost why I wanted this really feels like it came from Donald Trump. It came from a White House spokesperson, but tell me if this sounds like Trump or not. South Park is a 4th-rate show that hasn't been relevant for over 20 years and is hanging on by a thread with uninspired ideas in a desperate attempt for attention. Did that sound like Donald Trump?
It does, and I
sound verbatim like Donald.
Yeah, I more or less. I don't agree with all that, but for the most part, I agree. I was curious when they were doing some of the Charlie Kirk stuff, and I've watched South Park over the years. So I watched the first. I think there was only 2 episodes out at the time. This might be the 3rd or 4th. I watched them. I was like, oh, this might be kind of funny. and it really wasn't. Like it is getting a lot worse. It's getting very much clear political agenda. It has its moments, but it's definitely not what it was.
I'm definitely gonna have to watch the last episode. Now, there are like 2 or 3 times they've mentioned in a crypto. 22, they made fun of Matt Damon. They made fun of his crypto.com
FTX
promotion
stuff.
there. Then in earlier episode 2021, a character had the power to convince people that NFTs were a viable investment. That one hurts.
Yeah.
And then finally, they had an episode in 21 showing Bitcoin being used as mainstream means of payment in the future, with the character saying, I love this, we've all decided centralized banking is rigged, so we trust more in fly-by-night Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, that's pretty much been their take the whole time. Sounds like they've got a Elizabeth Warren type advisor on what their take should be on this kind of stuff.
Now, we covered Michelle Bowman yesterday, and we covered the recent shift that should allow Treasury officials to buy crypto. I think it's a great move. We love seeing it. Yesterday, I talked about, like you should be able to have a gold bracelet, so why can't you have a little Bitcoin and cold storage there? I want to share this. Bowman's plan to let Fed staffers own crypto raises questions. I'm not even going to get in the article. What's the title of the publication? American Banker. Could you be more on the nose?
Oh, man. Banks say Bitcoin isn't good. Yeah, okay.
Banks say
sense.
Crypto bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's American Banker for you.
There you go.
Michelle Bowman, no relation to James Bowman, who's also known as James Hamill, who you might know as JD Vance. It's a fake name. Speaking of JD Vance, let's talk about Peter Thiel here.
Wait, you're saying James Hamill is JD Vance's real name? Is that what you're saying?
JD Vance was born James Bowman.
James Bowman.
He then changed his name as a teenager, and then he changed his name with his third name, and then that's what he ended up releasing his book under.
Interesting. Vance is cool. I wonder how they settled on that. I probably just brand.
Some say he's a construct.
Yeah, well, I agree.
A Peter Thiel facsimile.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. Like, what's the ideology or the methodology behind picking the name? I mean, it's a good pick. I just wonder, did they what's that called?
Like do like a test or something?
Yeah, like we had this the other day.
Focus group.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, like a clear glass. He's like behind the glass, like, they like Vance. They like Vance. Powerful, they said.
Powerful, trendy, young, current.
One syllable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what a headline here. Let's talk about Peter Thiel. Proponents to see ETH become the platform of choice for the financial world. This is a breakdown where I'm going to show you that mainstream America is ready because they're going to be told to be ready. They're going to be persuaded to be ready. And this kind of goes to what me and TJ and what we've all thinking about. What does retail look like? When does retail come in? And I've been saying for a long time, retail comes in when they're told to come in. It sounds a little conspiratorial, sounds a little crazy. I do think price action obviously is going to have a little bit of impact on that. But when Bitcoin doubled in price, smashes previous all-time highs, was retail there? Retail wasn't there because retail wasn't told to be there. But now this is the shift. I'm seeing a shift. Retail is now being told to buy crypto. And so we're going to look at just a few. This is TJ's favorite topic that I talk about, persuasion techniques.
Yeah.
We're going to just look at 4. We're going to look at social proof. We're going to look at urgency. We're going to look at contrast principle. We're going to look at authority. I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds here, but I just want to kind of educate you folks here. Peter Thiel leads the packs of investors piling into Ether. So Ether, crypto long overshadowed by Bitcoin, has surged 13% this month. One big beneficiary, billionaire Peter Thiel. He's been among those piling into Ether. This is literally social proof. This is everybody's doing it. All right. Well, a little social proof. So that's a little persuasion. When you see cyan or turquoise, that's persuasion techniques. Now, ETH could be Wall Street's platform of choice to launch new financial products and services. That sounds like a pretty bullish statement coming from the Wall Street Journal. ETH is up 27% so far, topping Bitcoin's roughly 20% gains. Well, that looks like a little contrast principle to me there, TJ, saying, yeah, Bitcoin pumps, but ETH pumps bigger. So I'd get ETH if I was you. The latest Bitcoin rally, partly driven by a new wave of companies issuing shares and debt to stockpile it as a treasury asset. The same thing is now happening with Ether. Ooh, little urgency. Oh, these Bitcoin treasury companies, they loaded up tons of Bitcoin. They're starting to do it with ETH. Oh, you better hurry. You better beat them because they're doing it. And I'm going to beat them because I'm smarter than Wall Street. You are. That's what they're trying to tell you. Thiel was a PayPal founder, early Facebook investor, longtime patron of JD Vance. An investment firm managing his wealth has scored big paper gains on ETH-related bets. Oh, well, a little social proof right there, and authority. Oh, well, that's the guy that was early on Facebook. That's the guy who founded PayPal. That almost sounds like 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste. I better use it because that's what the smart money does. That's what the authority does. Now, Thiel's gains on these investments pale in comparison to the billions added to the value of his stake in Palantir so far. More contrast principle. This man crushed it on Palantir, and these ETH gains haven't caught up to those gains. So I bet that's going to catch up. A little contrast for you. Now, tokenized money market funds from BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and Apollo operate on the ETH network. 3 out of 4 dentists approve ETH. Then we keep this, the final part here. Scott Bessent has suggested stablecoins, many of which trade on ETH, could play a role in reining in the national debt by driving demand for U.S. treasuries. Well, dang, does it get more authoritative than Scott Bessent? Thiel has long been an evangelist for cryptocurrencies. Vitalik, the co-founder of ETH, was a Thiel fellow, paid by Peter Thiel to drop out of college, paid by Peter Thiel with a monthly stipend. And then he received backing from Thiel to launch the ETH network. So a little, this to me, TJ, clear signal that the elite literary institutions, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journals, on television, CNBC, MSNBC, Fox Business News, they're all going to start signaling buy ETH, buy ETH, buy ETH. This might be the start. I have identified the start of altcoin season, of retail coming in, and it's all from this one little article with very hidden persuasion messaging.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It basically says go all in ETH. You know, Tom Lee is out there every day buying. He bought billions of dollars of ETH in the last couple of weeks, and I don't think it was because he thought it was a good time to gamble. I think it's because he knows what's coming, and he knows he can make a lot of money getting as much money into ETH as possible. So now's the time, and yeah.
What do you think of my thesis that this is maybe the big powers that be are signaling a shift to cover crypto favorably?
100%. They definitely are. They 100,
like all the way up to, you know, government institutions maybe suggesting this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think BlackRock signaled when they started moving in with the ETFs that hey, smart money, get in position. We've been in that positioning period for the last ever since that happened, I guess, year or two. And you know, even Harvard, all the way up to like Harvard Endowment Fund getting exposure to Bitcoin, and pension funds are now getting exposure. And yes, and the same is going to be with ETH. We've seen the ETH inflows on the ETFs explode in the last week or so. And I absolutely believe we're going to see them pushing it extremely hard. It does seem to be the chosen one by Wall Street, the chosen network of choice for a lot of these institutions to be launching on and working with and working on. Chainlink is on Ethereum. Aave is on Ethereum. Base obviously is on Ethereum. So Coinbase has chosen it. It's going to be hard. There is opportunity for other smart contract platforms to compete, like Solana and like Avalanche, like Cardano, but their opportunity seems to be the lion's share is going to be going to Ethereum. So yeah.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys just, you know, letting me go down that little diatribe there. Let's check in on the Arrow Bears. And then Bears took an arrow. It ain't done pumping. It just keeps on pumping.
Let's go. Yeah.
Or green candles.
Feels good.
Again
Feels
and
good.
again. It's going to be more green. All right, or go ahead.
Oh, Kelly was just saying, Kelly Kellum from BitLab saying, can we pull up the dominance chart on the 1 hour? It just fell off a cliff. So basically, when this announcement came out, it in the past, yeah, whoa.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I found a little bottom here on the 5 minute, but yeah, I mean, you see on the 1 hour, just.
Yeah, if you zoom out, it's continually, it's obviously it's been up on the rise for a long time, but what is it? What's the percentage? I can't see that from this.
That is right under 58%, like 58.94.
Perfect. Well, send us down to the 30s or 40s in the next couple of weeks, and then where's that line come out to? The yellow line you've got.
Oh, that's in the 40s. I mean, let's just say it'd be like 42%. Roughly
if that happens, we're gonna make an insane amount of money off these altcoins. Like an insane amount of money. You guys are gonna have to be really nice to us if you want us to keep streaming. So. I'm serious.
I mean, once that Cardano hits a certain price, man, I'm like Jason Calacanis with the Uber.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be mad obnoxious, y'all. Speaking of obnoxious, we had some exchanges get a little obnoxious with each other, shooting shots.
I saw that.
That is right. A little battle lines being drawn by the Winklevi and Jesse Powell. Kraken. This is from Kraken first, 22 hours ago. Dudes will be up 5x and then do this the second the price drops 10%. We've probably all been there. What was Gemini's response? I'd be upset too if I was a Kraken user. Burn.
Yeah, shots
okay.
fired. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. They retaliated. Turn a profit or you won't be able to keep sending these funny tweets for much longer.
Yeah.
Woo! They had about, I think it was $450 million in operating losses in one quarter.
Yeah.
Most of those were expenses tied to the IPO release. Still pretty dang funny.
Yeah,
there.
Kraken wins that round, 100%. Kraken in turn takes that one.
Jesse Powell for the win there. Jesse Powell. All right. Let's talk about ETH again. Now, BlackRock, you said the signal was there. BlackRock did lead the way, $287 million spot ETF inflows, but they front ran the big pump today. They had a inflow yesterday, and you can see there's the little streak of red days, minus 60, minus 200, 400, 250, but now we pulled in $287 million in inflows yesterday. So signaling maybe the little bearish period, maybe that was the pullback that was needed, and maybe now it's just going to be up and to the right from here. Now, this ETH, this is, ETH's chart. I just want to show this because this has been invalidated and broken. I want to see how bullish it looks now. This is from Moon and Pop by Aaron Dishner, very good at TA here. I think he does regular contributions for CoinDesk or Cointelegraph. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one there, but he does TA on one of the major crypto publications out there. This is just points of resistance that started around August 14th. Let's look at it. Holy smokies. This is a 4-hour chart. That's why you see a couple candles there. This is the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broke the trend.
Yeah, say we have invalidated that trend line for sure.
It flipped it into support.
Looking good right there. Looking good. This was only 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's 11:35 p.m. and it's 11:11 a.m. 12 hours. What a change.
That's why I like
4, 8, 12.
Yeah. I'm generally more macro. Obviously, we need to zoom in on the TA for doing more of the day trade type stuff. But generally speaking, the more you zoom out, all right, no ramen today. I'm getting sushi for lunch today. So, the more you zoom out on these things, the more they get into bullish structures. You know, if you're looking at a 1 hour, you go do the 4 hour, go to the daily, go to the weekly, go to the monthly, whatever it is. But if you're looking at weekly to monthly candles, like it's still an extremely bullish structure.
Cardano
overall.
broke that resistance.
Yeah. I mean, ETH is going to perform really well. I still think long term it trends down over Bitcoin over the next couple decades, like it has been. But there will be periods where it outperforms, and I think we're heading into that right now. And I will encourage you guys not to. What do you got?
That's the levels I drew days ago, TJ.
Yeah, look at that. Bounced off it perfectly.
Why didn't I trade it?
You're the TA master. And it's right on that point of
A
control.
lot of this I was asleep and stuff. God dang it. Yeah, it's a 4 hour. If you didn't watch the Chainlink video, look at what you missed out on. All right. I'm trying to give you nuggets, dummy. And you're not listening. You're not watching. You're not hitting the like button. And it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help you change your life and you won't listen to me.
Well, and you are, and the truth is, I mean, I like what you said. I'm giving you nuggets, dummy. The dumbest thing most people in crypto do, and I'm saying this because I used to be one of these people, is you outsmart yourself. You say, well, it can't be as easy as the biggest, most obvious coins are going to pump. Like, it can't be buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. That seems way, people want to get way more. Oh, I want a low cap. I want this. I want that. I want to find the next whatever. And it's like, no, Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Ethereum is the next Ethereum. Chainlink is the only Chainlink, so don't outsmart yourself. Buy what BlackRock is buying. Ethereum is going to pump. It's going to be in the 6K, 8K, 10K range. You had a long time to buy it at $1,500, an easy 5X plus on the number 2 coin. Don't get greedy looking for a 50X and miss the obvious 5 to 10Xs. It's been so easy to predict and call this. And so many people don't like the simple advice. They want it to be a lot more complicated. They want to spend time. Oh no, I'm tracking wallets and I'm doing that and I'm staying up all night doing all this stuff. It's like, you don't have to. You
could bet on the clear winners.
Yeah. Even if you don't have a lot of money. A lot of people, they're too short of a time frame. Brian and I were talking about this the other day. When we first got in 2017, he thought, well, we don't have enough initial capital to make significant money buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have to take more risk. Well, that wasn't true. The truth was, with an insignificant amount of money, not a lot, under 20 grand, you can make generational wealth buying the majors. And I still think that's true now. If you're just putting if you're contributing to a 401k and you start putting it into the major coins, Bitcoin, Chainlink, Ethereum, you're going to do really well over the rest course of your life. The main problem people have is impatience. They want to make a lot of money fast, and they don't want to wait 10 years, which really isn't that long in investing.
Looks like he does the TA for Coin Bureau. Okay, so I had that one wrong. Now you're talking about betting on clear winners. Great strategy in crypto. ETH clear, L1, main mode there. Bitcoin, digital gold, clear winner there. But there are times where you can bet on, there's only going to be 2 or 3 people jockeying for one spot. And then you could do a little bit of a leverage position there, or, skew your bets there. I would say one of those is the number 3 stablecoin.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that isn't a clear winner. I think obviously Tether, followed by USDC. But there's a couple people jockeying for number 3 spot on stablecoin. I would say the main 3 that come to the top of my mind is going to be Athena's USDE, XRP's RLUSD, and maybe Trump's USD1.
I'd put USD1 and I'd put it in that order: Athena, USD1, and then maybe XRP. But it's
what would you put as? Would you have a third one, or you just have those 2?
Probably just those. I mean, I think Tether's going to end up being the dominant winner there.
Well, you are bearish on XRP. You just proved it, TJ.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I just not bearish. I want it to do well. I want people to make money. I'd just rather buy other stuff. That's just not where I'm putting my money. So.
Yeah. I would say being the number 3 stablecoin is going to be very, very lucrative, insanely lucrative. And I think Athena could be one of those coins. Ollie Charge just pointed out Athena withdrawn from the exchanges, 140 million tokens. You see a very significant decline there. And it looks like they passed a pretty major milestone in cumulative revenue there as the synthetic stablecoin ecosystem is gaining ground. So I would not sleep on Athena. When you look at supply and cumulative revenue, growing and growing and growing. I'm not sure which is blue and which is the white line. We have dip, so cumulative would have to be the blue line. So that's the supply is the white line there. Yeah, look at that giant spike in USDE supply right there on the right side.
It's been pouring in the last couple of weeks, exponentially, and it's basically a stable coin institutional wrapper. But got this super chat here.
Good question.
What comes first, 10K ETH or $100?
I'm leaning Chainlink, actually. I think there's a lot of sell pressure in that 8 to 9 ETH range.
Yeah, my gut when I first read it, snap call Chainlink $100, and then you start to think like, I don't know, maybe not. But gut says if I had to make a decision, link to $100.
I think just the 2x from previous all-time high, which is going to be a $9,600 Ethereum. I think it's just going to be too juicy a sell target for a lot of people there. We went in hard on Yeezy yesterday. I mean, I dropped F-bombs. It was a whole slew of insults heading towards Kanye here, but this is just another graphic, just reminded you of what I was trying to save you guys from. Imagine seeing this and thinking, let me ape the next celebrity meme coin. Lil Pump, 98% drawdown. 6ix9ine, 99%. 50 Cent, Iggy, Offset, Rich the Kid, Trippie Redd, Designer, Sway Lee, Jason Derulo, Doja Cat, and Soulja Boy. And killing all these, the mother token. I think she actually still does stuff for it.
She tried. I'll give her credit for trying. But
I forgot about the Jason Derulo one.
Yeah, that was bad. That was
so random
TikTok extraction there. Yeah, Drew and I were having an interesting conversation about SocialFi today, and the incentives. Problem is incentives don't line up, and so I just don't know how well this will work long term. Yeah, I don't know. I don't touch them. I was looking at it. I think the play on these things, especially if you're into DeFi, is getting into a pool very quickly. I was looking at somebody had 50% ROI on their pool within 4 minutes on the Yeezy pair. So if you can do,
you would need a lot of capital because you would have to basically be enough in that pool to not look shady on Dex Screener or Dex Tools.
No, you don't. You can join pool. Like you don't have to have a lot.
That's a good point. You can just. I thought that you were saying that person made one.
No, well, you can. You can do that too, but all you have to do is get in it early. You have to just be, when it drops, you're ready to put your liquidity in there and provide liquidity for it in a whatever Solana USDC pair or whatever the YZY Solana pair or whatever it was. you can make money quick doing that stuff. So that if you want to trade those things, to me, that's the best way to make money doing it.
I think what we need is a Yeezy Caitlyn Jenner collab.
Yeah.
You burn you fuse the tokens and they burn and they like make a new token. I'm just gonna stop right there.
Yeah, there was way too many jokes.
The
My head
hamster
went,
is let's just say he broke his ankle. All right, let's talk about Chainlink real quick. Excited to share Chainlink now, the industry's first data interoperability Oracle platform for ISO 27001. That's going to be the new thing here, 27001. And also, you're going to see a little bit on 27002 there. What the heck are these things? International standards that provide guidelines and best practices for information security management. And I would say maybe one of the more important parts are going to be access control and maybe where's the other one? Security there. So they want to know about this. Is it secure? And can state actors get control? Can they get access? Can they? Their reason will be North Korea hacker has this. So we got to be able to just have access 24/7. We got to be able to stick our hand up your you know what at all times. But it's under the guise of access control. But this is the new thing just to keep an eye out on. It used to be, was it 222?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're just different things. The 222 still exists. It's more of the messaging protocol. These are a lot more needed for compliance, and basically Chainlink has designed and created everything you need to make all of these things work. I saw a really interesting post about, Chainlink actually working with banks and doing all this stuff versus others that just talk about it. And they are now ingrained at a regulatory level that is an extremely strong moat, which is why I'm saying it's a good hold long term. They have a good product. They don't have any competition. They have a great revenue model, and now they have governments approving them that they must be used by law. And so that's one of the strongest moats you can have. And I don't really see people coming in and competing with that, which is why and we've been saying this for years now at this point, if you had to have I remember somebody asking you this in chat at the bottom of the bear market, if you had to hold something for another long-term 5-10 years that isn't Bitcoin, what would it be? And I think we both said Chainlink is really the only other one I would put in that category, even
above
over
Ethereum, above Cardano, above Solana for me.
Right, because there's more competition in the smart contract area than there is in it's not just an Oracle, but in the cross compatibility communication link type thing. Oh, we got Bank of America in the chat here. Look at that.
All right, Bank of America. Love to see it here. That is a Rothschild's bank originally. All right, let's talk about HBAR here. HBAR testing a critical level of support. There's actually some big news with Swift and HBAR. What the heck's going on over there? So HBAR working with Swift. Swift revealed plans to launch live blockchain payment trials with HBAR across its $150 trillion network. Now, at the same time, speculation over ETFs are gathering steam after what happened. Grayscale filed that Delaware trust document. This is always the first stop. Grayscale, always the first to launch an ETF. The first thing they do when they launch these ETFs is Delaware trusts, and they are going to be basically separate LLCs, separate entities. Maybe they're not limited liability corporations, but separate entities that's only responsible for working with a impending HBAR ETF. Now, these developments spotlight their technology's ability to do 10,000 transactions per second. That's why people are so bullish on it. And it goes into the chart. So we got the charts right here. And I was wondering what this was going to look like with the recent pump. Didn't quite pump. Oh, yeah, that pump looks good. You just got to zoom in a little bit. Looking at the daily, though, there's something I wanted to share. Golden Cross. We just got a Golden Cross. Not just, but, not that long ago, we got a Golden Cross. Normally, after a Golden Cross, you get a little bit of consolidation. After the consolidation, that's when you go on the next big leg up. Let's just look at the last Golden Cross. Bear Cross, it was after the big drawdown. Did put in that lower low, right there, actually, right at it. But if you look at the previous Golden Cross, we did pump and then consolidate, shorter consolidated, albeit. After the consolidation, HBAR would go bananas. After the consolidation, HBAR would pump. In 1 week, it would triple. It would go 200%. What are we looking at for a 200% pump from the bottom of this consolidation? Woo! 67, 68 cents. Right there, 69. Let's just round up. 69 cent H bar is in the cards, folks. Let's zoom out. 69, new all-time high.
Yeah. No, H bar is one has stayed relevant in the RWA conversation. If they can continue to, they have good marketing, they put good money behind it. Chart looks strong. I think that's one that could be a major player in the RWA space. Speaking of, we've got a super chat here. I have a significant bag in Arrow and Ondo, about 50-50, thanks to you guys. Should I shift some Ondo into Arrow? And I would say, I would ask you this, because this is a not uncommon sentiment I've seen in this space. Has your conviction changed? Like, what has changed with your initial investment conviction? Why did you put money in Ondo? Has your opinion on that changed? That's what you should be asking yourself. If the answer is no, I would just caution you from over trading. I see way too many people try to trade into what's running now. Like I was talking about earlier in the show, impatience. They had a conviction, they had a thesis on both. One hit, boom, you crushed it. Your arrow call, your thesis on it, whatever it was, looks like it's proving out. Ondo is lagging, but if your thesis hasn't changed, it could be the next one to go. And so what you don't want to do is move your money that's here over to something that's pumped before this one pumps, and then you go back chasing Ondo later. Oftentimes, you almost want to be doing the opposite. I'm not saying that in this situation, but for example, I was up big on some stuff that I rolled into Avalanche because Avalanche hasn't moved yet. Even though I already had Avalanche that I was down on, I'm like, I'm gonna get more at this price versus chasing other pumps. So I understand the FOMO into wanting. I literally was texting some other people like, yeah, I should have full ported Arrow a couple weeks ago instead of just moving a Bitcoin or two in. I would be much happier. That being said, you want to be careful. You don't chase pumps, because I see a lot of people get wrecked doing that, especially new people that get antsy in a bull market and, oh, this coin's moving and mine coin isn't. I'm going to move over there. And then as soon as you do, your coin starts moving. Oh, I'm going to move back. And then you're just like out of
We were just talking about this before the show. The best investors do what, TJ? They're able to do what?
Nothing for a long period of time.
That's right. The best investors can do nothing for long periods of time. Warren Buffett is a good example of that. Now let's talk about Solana in the 100K transactions per second there. Now this is from Solana. Yeah. The easy road goes from 1 to 100K transactions per second. The hard road is 100K to 1 million. Now we reported on this and found out that some of these were no op transactions or no operation transactions. But, they're saying, it's pretty legit. When we did an article, I want to say it was in the high teens. It was like 17% were these no op transactions. Well, the blockchain data may be a lot worse than that. They're saying they gamed the numbers in typical Solana fashion here. Solana devs ran a stress test on the mainnet. They blasted the chains with these no op transactions, no operations, dummy instructions that do nothing. No state change, no math, no balance updates. One block was 107,000 transactions per second. Even Solana's pushing this. Founder of Solana's pushing this. Big Solana whale pushing this here. Ex-CEO or ex-Coinbase. But here's the reality. That block had 43,000 transactions in half of a second. 412 milliseconds there. Of those 43,000 transactions, 42,000 were no-op transactions. 99.5% filler. And so maybe only 200 were real transfers. And the TPS inflated by junk. So maybe just something to keep an eye on. I do think Solana is great tech, but when there are popular launches, it is sometimes difficult to make a swap, to make a transaction there. So just some maybe to keep an eye out on. People are talking about this bull chart, but let's read some of these super chats here. What are your top 3 alts to rotate Bitcoin gains into? You're in the wrong phase. You need to be doing it backwards. Now is not the time to rotate.
I don't know. I just wrote. That's what I just did. I was
rotating out of Bitcoin.
Yeah, for these next 4 to 6 weeks. And
yeah,
then
you're
back.
Right.
I've been in mostly Bitcoin this whole time, and a couple weeks ago started moving heavy into significant alts.
I think Sui and Solana are actually great.
I do too. And that's what I was going to say. Sui and Solana are good. That's not what I chose. So if I had to give my top 3, what I put it in recently was Arrow, Chainlink, Aave, and there was another. Oh, an Avalanche. I bought some Avalanche. So those were the ones I just took out. I think I took 2 or 3 Bitcoin and broke those up into that recently. If you guys want to get the full breakdown of everything I do, my whole portfolio, it is in the Discord. The link is in the description. It's in the premium section. It's not in the free section. So if you're interested in that, get in there. You'll see every move that I make.
I like Zero and Athena.
Yeah,
as well.
Those are the ones you've been buying. I don't, like I said, Sui and Solana are fine picks. I do think Solana hasn't quite hit its stride yet. I'm heavy DeFi. I like DeFi. I use DeFi. I understand DeFi, and I really think
he is DeFi.
I just really think DeFi is going to be financed soon, and it's a little bit lower risk to me. I have done really well with Solana. I mean, I first bought Solana like $5. Layer ones was kind of what I did well with previously. Now my focus is very much on DeFi.
All right. Watch that recency bias, though. Watch that recency bias. All right, so we talk about Solana. Let's now talk about Solana price action. Oh, we got one more. Moby Screener, can it beat DEX tools? Maybe. I have never used Moby Screener one time, so I don't have an informed decision or explanation on whether or not it's better or not. Have you used it before?
No, not really. I mean, DEX tools definitely. It's going to take a lot of marketing. I'll say that.
I just know Moby. He can get stomped by Obi. And he's bald. Now, don't say the rest of the lyrics, chat. Don't say the rest. Let's look at this Solana chart. Solana chart, most bullish in crypto right now. Whoa, it's 260 next. Well, let's just go straight to the meat and potatoes here. They're talking about a bull flag pennant. This is daily. Let's go to, let's check it out. And we got on the 4-hour. We'll go to the 12-hour, clean this up a little bit. So what are we seeing on this bull flag pennant? Make sure we're on a regular chart, not a log chart.
Real quick, while you're doing that, chat, let us know what would be your top 3 altcoin picks. Let us know if you had to pick 2 or 3 coins to rotate out of Bitcoin into for this next season. What are they?
Looks like that gives us a $238 Solana target.
Ooh,
maybe something to keep an eye out on. But there is a larger bull flag that could potentially be validated. That is this one, and you can see we broke out from right there, 238. This one comes in 238. Wow. Maybe keep an eye out on 238 Solana. Still going to be, significantly lower than what we saw shortly after Trump. But if you look at Solana loves a rate cut. Maybe rate cuts could be a huge catalyst for a new all-time high.
Absolutely. I think it will be.
Looking at some of your choices here. Kita, Mamo, Arrow. We got Mamo, Link, Arrow. Sui, Solana, Morpho. What are you seeing here that you like?
I like all of them. These are all good picks. I mean, we got a pretty smart chat.
Say is good.
I mean, we got some of the top ones, and then we've got some of the top ones in base, which makes sense. We've been heavy in the base ecosystem this whole time, but I don't see any that I don't like. You guys, good job, good chat. Keep it up,
man. I wonder if we got a little megaphone pattern starting to form. Okay. That might be a thing. That might be a thing to keep an eye out on.
There's one on
heard it here first.
If you chart like all of Bitcoin, there's a giant megaphone on. If you go back to the beginning of Bitcoin, it's pretty. I saw it the other day. I'm like, wow, that's
it. Log, I wonder.
I don't think so. I think it could be. I guess I don't know because it is from the very beginning. But yeah, it's gonna because it'd be kind of hard to see it on the. No, it's definitely not that. I don't think, but. I'll go look for it and see if I can find it. Maybe we'll pull it up tomorrow. But it was some of those
that feels bullish to me.
Yeah, looks bullish.
All right, but it also has a terrible bear market, TJ. Holy crap. All the way down to 30. That's ugly. Hey, it could happen. I doubt it, but it could. You never know. Don't ever bet on a bear market being worse than you think. It can be worse than you think. MetaMask is getting into the game here. They want to be that top 3 stablecoin here. They got the MUSD, the MUSD. This is the most widely used ETH wallet. They're going to roll out the first stablecoin. It's going to be called MetaMask USD. And this is what's nuts. It's supposed to be here by the end of the month, TJ. This isn't like Q1 26. This is like they have 8 days left.
Wow.
So I guess we'll see. Typically, you might have with strong institutional launches, whether it's an IPO or, maybe it's a consensus-owned largest crypto wallet in existence, launching a stablecoin, might be a green day in the markets there. Might be pretty good.
Well, we're going to see a lot of those kind of announcements where people have been sitting on them for a while. We're going to see an insane amount drop in the next couple months when the conditions are good. Do you have a ETH target price for this cycle?
It is it's that 7 to 9K.
7 to 9K. Yeah, it's in range.
12, it's just that 10K is such a psychological level.
If I had to pick one number, it'd be 8. But yeah, I'm in that same kind of range of like 6 to 12, 7 to 12.
If it passes 10K though, that's when you start talking about 20K.
Yeah. And that's probably when it's time to take some profits. You know.
All right. Now, one last thing on Cardano here. I want to share Cardano successfully completed the first governance payout. If you don't know, Cardano is the world's largest governance system. And in this governance system, you can actually govern what they do with their treasury. And we got the very first treasury payment. And I think it went to Eternal Wallet. Very small amount, kind of a test transaction, but this is things that the actual Cardano community voted on. And you could submit a proposal, say, hey, Cardano, I want some money. And then people will vote on it, and it actually executed. So they're saying, the largest decentralized payment system activity ever. So pretty cool for Cardano. It is one of their main value adds there is that governance system. But we're about to go work on some videos today, folks. We're going to get a little researchy. I think I got to really look at that Bitcoin activity. What happens after Jackson Hole? It's one thing. Hold on, give me 1 second here. It's one thing to look at, we got a major pump, man. It pumps and it pumps so good. But if you look at, share this, if you look at what happened August 23rd, 2024, we had a 5% pump. And then it very quickly dumped 19%. And you can see it right there. We went from around the 60s and we dipped all the way to the low 50s there. So that was a very significant decline. It fell about, what are we looking at there? $12,000 in very short order. So I'm gonna get into the charts here. I need to see what the heck is going on with some of these Jackson Hole numbers. And really, I got to dive into this, TJ. I got to see what is going on with all these drawdowns. Is this a thing that happens every single time? Because we can see the stock market dumps literally always. So if Bitcoin looks like this, I got to bring you this info, folks.
Yeah, it looks good. I did want to leave this last thought on Arrow. A mere 5% of Coinbase users have access to DEX trading on Base so far. This was this pump we saw. DEX trading volume up 100% in the past month from them adding it. And it's only to 5%. A lot more upside left on Arrow. But let us know in the chat, what of your coins are you seeing pump today? What are you most bullish on project-wise for the remainder of this cycle? Let us know, and we'll see you guys later. We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.